Knicks last night at Madison Square Garden, and also a preview for today because we're in Cleveland to play the Cavs immediately right away tonight. We had they had a back-to-back also. They beat Oklahoma City last night, and we lost to the Knicks, and we're traveling from New York to Cleveland. Of course, they played in Cleveland, so they're not traveling anywhere. So, yeah, the Cavs are on a long win streak already right now. They're in like a 11 or 12 game win streak right now. So it's crazy. This is going to be an even tougher game than last night. But who knows? Crazier things happen. Streaks have to end. And, well, maybe their winning streak has to end tonight against the Raptors, as crazy as that sounds. Who knows? I mean, I thought that the Raptors did a good job against the Knicks overall last night. There's improvement from the game before. But as they said in their post-game interviews, it was like RJ said, we played really good in the first half. In the second half, not so much. And that's where things kind of got away from us. That's the thing. In a rebuild, teams have to learn how to be quality all 48 minutes again. They have places where either stagnate on offense, which happened in the third quarter, or places where rookie mistakes happen a lot and the team's just not polished or looking that good. Other teams have been crafting being good for 48 minutes, and they're further along at perfecting that than we are, and that's part of the problem. I know a lot of people are frustrated. They're sad because we're losing a lot, but it's really, really dumb to think that firing Coach Darko helps us right now, because it doesn't. It doesn't. People that think that that's going to help us or that's the answer. Somebody told me yesterday that we should fire him and hire Mike Brown right now because he's available all of a sudden. I'm like, that's crazy. Why would you think Mike Brown's going to be better in this situation than what Darko's doing right now? No, he won't be, because first of all, I don't know if he has the kind of reputation or time development wise like Darko does, because we're seeing real results from Darko, from him being a development coach, and that's what matters right now. Mike Brown can lead a Cleveland team to a championship or something like that with LeBron James. He can do this with that and this and that, but in some ways, it doesn't mean Mike Brown's going to be able to coach a team that is not as talented or is in the state of being that we are in right now, and that's why Darko's the right choice. Yeah. Mike Brown's good for like when you're competing, like if you have a very high level team, but he's not necessarily a good low level team when you're going to have a bad record. That's what I would say. I mean, that's part of the reason why Sacramento fired him right now. Exactly what I just said. I mean, if he was getting worthwhile gains out of young players for the Kings, he probably would have stuck around. But no, he's not, and the team is not getting anywhere right now. So anyway, enough about that. Let's do the preview for tonight, and then we'll do the reaction for last night real quick. First, we'll have the injury latest lineup news. The Raptors do have an injury on their list now because of last night, and it's the one guy who hadn't missed any games, and he got kicked in the ribs last night. It was crazy. Ochai Agbaji is back. He has been ruled out for the remainder of the game last night. He didn't come back out, and it's dubious about whether he'll be able to play tonight. Knowing the Raptors' track record of how they handle these kind of things, we're going to have to guess that Agbaji will be a DNP scratch tonight, just because it's the nature of it. Is a back-to-back, first of all, and he got hurt last night. So it's very likely that for precautionary reasons, the one Raptor who's played in all games so far this season is going to miss his first game tonight. So it's likely that Agbaji's out. We saw in an interesting rotation last night that Darko still putting in Shed over Davion, which I totally disagree with, even if he's trying to get him more development and giving him more time on there. He was absolutely horrible last night. Jamal Shed, really, really bad game last night. And also Bruce Brown. I squarely put the blame for the Knicks loss on those two individual players last night, because they were just turnovers and missed shots every single time they touched the ball. Both of them were really, really bad. It's almost like it's a comedy show with Bruce Brown, and he is trying to screw us up on purpose. The way he's acting out there, flying all around with his arms flailing, not getting half balls, hitting a ball that's going out of bounds that he could have grabbed, but he pushed it out further to go out of bounds, and he knew he could have caught it. Yeah, there's all kinds of weird, fishy shit, Bruce, where you're flying all around and the ball's loose and you're missing shots. And It's just not a good, successful stuff. Anyway, that's for my reaction. I'm already doing the reaction. I'm supposed to be doing a preview. Cavs do have a couple of injuries, but they're more healthy than they were the other times we saw them this year. We saw them in the very first game of the season that we blew us out and started their long winning streak at the beginning of the season. They didn't have Max Strus. Well, Max Strus is back, guys. The injuries for the Cavs: Sam Merrill is out due to an ankle injury right now. Luke Travers was signed to a two-way contract a couple of weeks ago. That's not even an injury. That's just a signing of a two-way. So yeah, they're pretty much healthy. The big difference being that Max Strus is back as there's another 3-point threat off the bench for them, and he has been playing big for them in their recent games. So the Cavs are rolling. They really are. They had a huge win streak to start the season, and they're on another huge win streak right now. They haven't lost since pretty much since we won our 2 games ago. Like they haven't lost since we won our game against Indiana. Basically, if that seems crazy, because we've lost almost every game since then. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. They're on 11-game win streak. So they win tonight, 12 games in a row. It's very likely they will win tonight, but it's the NBA. Anything can happen. And, well, we just got to hold out hope. You know, the thing is, every single night the Raptors suit up and go on a court in the NBA, they have a certain percentage chance of winning that game. And those percentage chances aren't as high, over 50% as you think. Quite often, these percentage chances for them to win in games are like 16% or like 10%. Like it may be very much around 10% or lower for them to win tonight. Like they have a 1 out of 5 chance, maybe even lower, of winning this game against the Cavs. We just need to understand the factors that are factored into that. There's home advantage. There's a top team that's won 11 in a row. You know, we're injured. We're not playing well. You know, that's why for us to win, it has to be in that very, very small percentage not on the majority side of what's likely to happen tonight. And that sucks. That's tough. That's very, very tough. The NBA and basketball in general is to game the advantage so that your team's more likely to win. And, well, in a lot of ways, our team is not more likely to win for a lot of different reasons right this second. But it can get better. It will get better. So do not dismay. Do not dismay. So, yeah, who's going to be playing for the Cavs tonight? Well, it's pretty much the same team that we saw. We saw them mostly healthy. Like I said, they're just missing Max Strus, Darius Garland, Donovan Mitchell, Isaac Okoro, Evan Mobley, Jared Allen, Karis LeVert, Max Strus, Georges Yang, Dean Wade, Tyrone Jerome, Tristan Thompson, and Craig Porter Jr., Jalen Tyson. Yeah, that's their team right now. Yeah, the referees for tonight, our crew chief for tonight's game in Cleveland is Josh Tiven, his 15th season out of Norwich, Connecticut, number 58. His favorite TV show is Seinfeld. He likes the movie Minority Report. He likes to listen to Dermot Kennedy. His favorite book is a book written by his father, Bruce, named Firstborn. His favorite meal is chicken parmesan with vodka sauce. He likes the IG as his favorite app. He most like to visit Hawaii. He wants to play golf at Augusta National, and he's a yo-yo expert. Yeah. The Connecticut native officiated 5 years in the NBA G League, working 3 final series in the 2008 All-Star Game. In addition, he refereed 2 years in the WNBA and 7 years at the collegiate level. He's married with 2 children, and he enjoys playing golf. That's Josh Tiven. Josh Tiven is the best ref for the Raptors today, the crew chief. We do have an 0-2 record this season with him. We've lost both the games he's ref before already. We win 56% of our games with Josh throughout his career, and the Cavs win 46%. So 56-46 for the Raptors with the crew chief, Josh Tiven. He may be our only friend on the ref crew, though. He may be, he may be the nicest person on the ref crew. The second ref is the younger Goebel brother, Jason Goebel, number 68 out of Miami, Florida, 9th season. Yeah, he's the younger Goebel. His favorite TV show is Power. He likes the movie Godfather. He listens to Mark Anthony. His favorite book is Pirates in Blue. Favorite meal, veal parmigiana. So we got 2 parmigiana fans. Favorite app, Netflix. He most like to visit Tahiti, and he wants to roll his own cigar in Cuba. That's right. Jason Goebel officiated 4 years in the NBA G League, refereeing the playoffs in 2015 and 16 and the finals in 2016. Goebel's brother John is in his 18th season as an NBA official. So, yeah, Jason's been in for 9 years. So he's been in half. He's the less experienced of the two Goebel brothers. We've seen Jason twice this year already. We lost both those games. We win 50% of our games in the history of Jason Goebel refereeing us, and the Cavs win 52%. So 50 to 52 split for the Cavs with the second ref from Miami, Jason Goebel. The third ref we've seen many times this year already, and she's a favorite. You guys like her, but I don't know why you do, because she has the worst winning percentage of all the refs for the Raptors currently right now. And that's Simone Jelks, number 81, her 5th season out of Cleveland, Ohio. She likes the TV show Handmaid's Tale. Her favorite movie is Love and Basketball. She listens to J. Cole. She reads the Bible. Her favorite meal is collard greens and peach cobbler. Her favorite app is Skylight. She must like to visit Africa, and her hidden talent is spoken word poetry. Poetry, that's right. Simone officiated 3 seasons in the NBA G League. She also has 3 years of collegiate officiating experience with stints in the Mid-American Conference and Horizon League. Yeah, and she used to play basketball herself. Yeah, Simone, we've had, like I said, quite a few times this year. This will be the 5th game she's going to referee for the Raptors this year. We are 1-3 this season so far. We've lost 3 games and won 1 game in the 4 games she refs already so far. Our winning percentage with her is, as I said, the worst in the league right now. Other than refs that barely refed us, and there's 0-0 and 0-2. Is Simone's 14% winning percentage. 1-4-3. Yeah, 14%. That's really low, y'all. That means we've only won 1 game with her ever out of all the games she's reffed. Meanwhile, the Cavs win 50% of their games with her. So 14 to 50, the split for the Cavs with the third ref, Simone Jelks, who is a fan favorite of the Raptors freak family for some reason. They love Simone Jelks. There's your ref crew. Yeah, she's a good ref. I agree with that, but we have not won with her around us games. It is what it is. Josh Tiven, hey, all right. It's going to be interesting. I think it'll be a very, very tough game to win because we have to play so perfect against such a tough together team that is rolling and doing such things. That's the other thing is you get momentum. You win a bunch of games like the Cavs just did, and you feel real good, and you're confident, and you're rolling, and you're kind of like moving with each other in a different way than like, a team like us that are kind of just trying to figure it out and get our footing right. It's a very, very tough thing to do. Very, very, very tough. All right, so there's your preview for tonight with the refs and the injuries. Yeah, Oshai Abaji, and Sam Merrill, pretty much the 2 main injuries for the 2 teams right now. Yeah. Let's see. Trevor Jay's here first. Let's see what Trevor Jay's saying this morning on the Raptor Freak live stream chat. Commissioner Jay, Commissioner of Fun. Good morning, sir. I hope you're having fun this morning. He's saying, never tell anyone your plans. Show them your results instead. Yeah. I'm guilty of being an open book. Maybe I talk about what I'm going to do too quickly or before. Maybe I should shut up. Just do them and then let everybody see later. I mean, that's the idea of it. I think in some ways that advice came about because people were open about their plans and people sabotage them out of haterism or jealousy. That stuff will happen. Seriously. There's the phenomenon called frenemies, where you have people that are in your life that are, for all intents and purposes, to your face, your friend. But on the down low, they're not there for you. They're toxic and they're hurting you behind your back. You don't even know it. That's what you got to worry about. And that's why this advice is smart, what Trevor's saying. If you're going to do something, go ahead and work on it on your own and let the people that are involved that need to know about it, but otherwise keep people out of it. And just kind of like let the results come out later and people can see it afterwards, because that's what will screw you up. Especially if there's people that are haters out there that don't really like you on the down low. They will do little subversive things to mess up what you're doing. There you go, Trevor J. I love it. Trevor J., thank you for your words of wisdom this morning. Also, Trevor said Chris came out 4 minutes, 10 points. Bruce Brown, 21 minutes, 4 points. Get rid of him, please. I'm going to say this right now and loud and clear. Happy birthday, Chris Boucher. That's right, y'all. It's Chris's birthday this morning. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to Slim Duck. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to the longest standing Raptor. Yeah, NBA champion. Couple times over. G League MVP. The great Chris Boucher. Yeah, he didn't play for much of the game. He got in garbage time, and well, he showed him that it's garbage that he's not getting to play. That's what it is right there. It's garbage that he's not getting to play. And in some ways, it's like, all right, ethical tank theorists, you may get some evidence from seeing Chris Boucher not be in the rotation for the whole game, and they get thrown in at the end of the game and just go crazy and go buck wild like he did in G League. The year he was in G League, that's what he looked like, y'all. The way he was running up and down the court, scoring all the baskets, hitting threes, just money every which way. That's what Chris Boucher looked like in G League the year he won Defensive Player of the Year and MVP in the G League in the same year. It was that overpowering, crazy. Yeah, he was the best player in those garbage minutes, obviously, because he just took over and went crazy. It's like, Darko, man, we could add up more to winning if Chris is in the rotation. He's going to help us win. You know, last year I wouldn't make this argument for him because he was getting all those DMPs. I will this year, though, because things have changed with Chris. In some ways, when you used to play Chris, you didn't know if you're going to get him half-assed or full extent. And you're getting him full extent this year, no matter what. And quality, very, very quality. There's not been a whole lot of dud kind of Chris Boucher games this year. There have been some. But often it's because he hasn't played a whole lot of minutes and gotten a lot of opportunities. But for the most part, especially at the beginning of the season, Chris Boucher has been producing and contributing to the Raptors in huge ways, carrying us as one of the primary scorers early in the season with people out. And now kind of just making cameo appearances here and there. And wow, that one last night was amazing. Wow, what a microwave you were, Chris. Came out there and cooked up some dinner real quick. Coming out there like that. In fact, he is one of my stars of the game. But we'll go with the first star of the game first for the game last night against the Knicks is Emmanuel Quickley. I actually really like what Emmanuel did on the court last night. He was mixing a lot of different things up. He was a positive plus minus. In fact, the rule for me for last night was of my 3 stars against the Knicks last night, all of them had to have a positive plus minus. So if they were on the court and the Raptors lost more than they won, they could not get a star. And Emmanuel Quickley had a positive plus minus. He was a +7, guys, in the 31 minutes that he played last night. So Emmanuel's out there playing winning basketball. 7 of 12 from the field. That's great shooting compared to what he had done recently. 3 of 6 from the three-point range. 5 of 6 at the free throw. 3 rebounds, 5 assists, 1 steal, 1 block, 2 turnovers, a +7, 22 points in 31 minutes. Our leading scorer for the game also. No, I thought Emmanuel was great. In some ways, he took the job of playing back in his former team and the former confines of the home arena that he used to play in seriously and really brought his best effort. So I have to give Quickley a lot of credit to be in that environment and do that. You know, Scotty and RJ, they had good scoring games, but neither one of them reached 20 points. And, you know, they could have done a little bit more to carry us. In fact, in that third quarter where things went real stale and stagnant and nobody was scoring, that's when we need you, Scott, to do what you did at times in the game last night. Those turnarounds are awesome. The way you made a shot over OG Anunoby, one of the best defensive players in the league, was really top level. I mean, he's a very good defender, and you were able to shake him off and make a little turnaround shot over him. That's not easy to shoot over OG Anunoby. And RJ, you know, you're a stallion. You're trying out there fight and stuff like that. But I don't know what it is. If there's some sort of period where we're not able to score all of a sudden, either the rotation out there needs to be upgraded with somebody who's more capable, or the guys that are out there that should be carrying us need to take it upon themselves to carry us. I'm serious, Scott. You know, Madison Square Garden's a big stage. And as I said in my preview yesterday, if you had gone on some sort of crazy personal run of 10 points in the second half and made up for the lead that the Knicks had by yourself, you would get more attention and you get more accolades and you get more shine. And people talking about, wow, Scotty really is that kind of level of a superstar. That guy really is a true bona fide all-star. Because in some ways, a lot of people around the league are suspicious about you, Scotty. A lot of people are not just buying that, yeah, just because the Raptors made you the franchise face doesn't mean that you're a perennial all-star. Doesn't mean that you're going to be one of the top stars in the future league that's coming very, very soon in the next few years. That's why you got to go and prove it to them, man. And you don't want to lose really good opportunities like last night to go above and beyond and shine and build your legend, to build your story, to build the career that you're doing right now. You only get one life, right? You YOLO, as your friend Drake would say. You only live once. And in some ways, these opportunities in these kind of games are the games that you need to step up and take those opportunities to make a name for yourself. And that's what I'm saying, Scott. I mean, in some ways, you did a little bit of that work last night, but it was incomplete project, bro. You got to do more, and you got to get a result where you are actually willing your team to victory. And that means carrying them on your very broad shoulders and taking selfish shots and shooting a lot, demanding the ball every time down the court, and the ball has to go through you. You have to channel it. Going through Yak's great, but I'd rather go through you so that you're in the high post like Yak would be, and you can make the decision whether to drive around or step back three or pass it, kick it to one of your teammates who just happen to be open because you're drawing attention. You need to be the hub. You need to be the director, Scott. That's why I can't give you a star, even though you didn't shoot that bad. You didn't have a whole lot of turnovers, but you did only have 18 points because I was like, man, you need more. We need more from you, bro, is what I'm saying. And RJ also. They're in the same boat. My second star of the game is Chris Boucher, who came into the game for 4 minutes at the end of the game and managed double digits, which is godsend. Since we have a whole bunch of guys on our team that can play 20 minutes and not get double digits, but we got a guy who can get 4 minutes and get 10 points like that. 4 for 4 from the field for Chris, 2 for 2 from three. They were awesome threes. I love it. He got a steal also, a plus 11 on the court when he was out there for 10 points. Yeah, Chris, happy birthday, man. We love you. Capricorn season full effect. And Chris Boucher, we love you, man. Raptors freaks love you. And Raptors fans will love you forever. You're going to be a legend for the Raptors franchise forever. Don't you ever forget that. You're already etched in. You're good for life, is what I'm saying. My third star of the game, I'm going to give it to Kelly Olynyk, guys. I told y'all, I'm only going to give it the plus minuses. Not giving it to anybody who had a minus negative last night. No. Kelly was 18 minutes on the court, 3 for 4 from the field. He missed his only 3. He made his only free throw, 4 rebounds, 1 steal, a +5 with 7 points. Yeah, that's not flashy. That's nothing that great. But he was on the court. When he was on the court, they won. They were beating them. The matchup with him and Precious was hilarious at times last night. Very, very hilarious. But, Kelly was savvy and sound, and he played solid. So I'll give him the third star because he had a winning effect on the game. So, yeah, 3 stars of the game, Emmanuel, Chris, and Kelly. Not very likely 3 stars in the game from last night, especially since Chris wasn't even supposed to play. And he got the second star. That's crazy, man. That is crazy, yeah. Trevor J saying the Raptors lose by not playing good defense. Lots of mistakes allowed Knicks to get to the basket. Yeah, I mean, that's all fair. Defensive lapses. I still think in some ways the bench unit that's coming out is screwing us over in the game. They did better early in the game, like in the first time they came out in the first quarter. They did better of kind of holding things close. But still, inevitably, the other team gets like a double-digit lead, like a 10-point lead on us, and we're playing back against a 10-point lead for like a majority of the second half. And at times that fluctuates and balloons to like 20 points. Then we get it back down to like 10. Then it's around 15. And then, yeah, we end the game and we lost by what 12 or something like that last night. It is what it is. I mean, we lost by 14. Yeah. At least we closed the gap. I mean, it didn't feel as bad of a loss as the Milwaukee or the Orlando losses recently. It feels like it was a game in progress, like going in the right direction from games before, right? Doesn't it? I feel like it does. I feel like if that level of percentage of perfection I talked about earlier in the stream that the team has to have a chance to win games, that went a little bit up higher in the game against the Knicks last night, if not falling on the very small minority percentage that was in our favor to possibly win against the Knicks in Madison Square Garden last night. Yeah, I mean, we're heading in the right direction. I'll say that. If we're going on a little bar graph, going from game to game, up and down, well, that was a little bit of an uptick in progress with the Raptors and their rebuild from the Milwaukee game to the New York game. So I can't be mad. I just want progress. I mean, that's what we say in AA, progress, not perfection. Although in the NBA, you probably do need perfection. As perfect as you can be. As perfect as you can be. That's usually the case. This is like an unwritten rule in the NBA. And young players that want to play in the NBA need to understand this. The more perfect you are, the better chance you have to win. You have to be perfect. And that means, like, yeah, the nitpicky stat lines, the stuff I do with the box score right here. I'm looking at what y'all did. And the more perfect you are in there, like Chris Boucher, 4 for 4, 2 for 2 with a steal in 4 minutes, the better chance you have to win. And that's the thing. That's everybody out of all the 10 or 12 or 8 players that play in that given night in the rotation, as much as y'all can be perfect out there. That's why it's very important if you invest minutes in young players like Shed and Mobo, that they go out there and they try and improve how perfect their minutes are over and over again. And last night, Shed was just not having it. It was bad, man. I'm really kind of upset with Shed because I know that he's got to play with a certain level of swagger and kind of looseness. But man, he looked bad last night. He was the worst plus minus out of everybody last night. Every time he touched the ball, something bad happened. And he didn't really make anything good happen. And I could say the same thing for Bruce Brown. Jamal Shed, 16 minutes, 1 of 3 from the field, 1 of 2 from 3, 1 of 2 from the free throw line, 4 assists, 2 turnovers, a minus 21 with 4 points in 16 minutes. That's just not good enough, man. You know, Davion's not a very offensive-minded player. He would probably get more than 4 points in that time, even though he's not really centered around trying to score right now. I don't know. In some ways, I don't agree with giving Jamal Shed this path into the main rotation right now when you have Davion Mitchell around. I don't know. This may be, once again, something designated by the front office saying that, yeah, Davion, we're kind of already figured out what we like about him and what we don't, and whether we might want to sign him in the offseason as a free agent to return to our team. But with Shed, he's actually a part of our future. We already know for sure. Maybe that's part of the reason why he's playing Shed over Mitchell right now, because Masai's told him to. That could be very well, because Masai made a move in the middle of the game last night. He filled our open roster spot by giving a 10-day contract to Eugene Omoruyi. And that's actually something that I predicted like a couple months ago that was going to happen. And I said even recently, after the spot opened up, that Eugene Omoruyi should be very much a first consideration to be the first 10-day contract to come in. Well, there he is. Boom, goes the dynamite. Raptor Street must know what he's talking about. If he's called this out 3 months before, well, actually it was around when I saw him play for 905 a couple times when he first came to there. And I was like, this guy could be playing for the Raptors and coming up at some point during the season. And well, it has happened as of yesterday. Eugene's very happy about it. Very, very happy. Looking at the rest of the box score for the Raptors, Scotty Barnes, 7 of 15, 2 of 3 from a three-point range, 2 of 2 at the free throw line, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, 4 blocks. Fantastic blocks. Scotty has been really playing exceptional on the defensive end recently. He's been playing exceptional on the defensive end recently. And I'm very, very happy with that. I mean, honestly, I want to give an honorable mention to Scott and RJ. It's just that I expect more from them as being top leaders on this team to get more than 20 points, especially since the Knicks team is so starter heavy with their minutes. Then they have all their players in their starting lineup getting double digits, and a couple of them over 20 points for sure. 27 for OG, 27 for Cat, 21 for Josh Hart, and pretty much almost all their points scored by their starters, with only 14 points coming from their bench. That's crazy. So in that case, it's like you got to outscore OG, Scotty. You're not a worse offensive player than OG, are you? So, well, in some ways, you need to keep tabs on this. You may not be a competitive person like this, but Michael used to be, Kobe used to be. All the greats have been like this. They keep tabs on who's got what, and they want to be top dog. They say, okay, well, I got to go get this and be above them. And man, OG is a great defensive player, but he's not a better offensive player than you, Scotty. But OG outscored you last night. And I know the Knicks may be helping him to be easier to score because their system and they're set up more and they're doing things more well oiled than we are. But still, no excuses, Scott. You've got to understand your counterparts on the other side are the top team players on the other side, and you need to outplay them every night. And that's what I'm saying. I'm going to be looking at you against Cat and OG. And, well, they both outscored you last night by almost 10, both of them. You did a fantastic job on Cat, though. I have to give you a lot of like, Scotty's having to guard Karl Anthony Towns a lot in the last few times we played the Knicks, and he's taken that assignment very seriously, and he's done a very, very good job for the most part, honestly. Jakob, 4 for 6 last night, 10 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal, 4 turnovers, a minus 19 with 8 points in 30 minutes. Yeah, on the down low, Yak has been hurting us a little bit in the last 2 games. And it's not even like a big deal, some of the stuff that's hurting us on. It's just it's very pronounced, and it's kind of like, it's tough. But overall, he's doing so many things that are more important for us that help us win than hurt us. But yeah, and this, I will admit, in some ways, Yak has hurt us in the last 2 games, just a little bit. RJ Barrett, 28 minutes, 7 of 15, 1 for 4 from the 3-point line, 1 for 2 at the free throw, 3 offensive rebounds for 5 altogether, 2 assists, 1 steal, 1 block, 2 turnovers, minus 18 with 16 points in 28 minutes. Yeah, RJ could have scored more. He could have scored more. I love what he's doing, though, man. He's still got that amazing left-handed layup and the other things he's doing on the court. He's just a fighter. He's out there doing stuff, but he could have scored more. Grady had a disaster last night. In some ways, Darko said after the game that Grady Dick had some really good views for shots. He got really good shot opportunities. He just didn't nail them. Yeah, it's a tough night for Grady, man. In some ways, this is a period where, once again, Grady's confidence is going to be tested. It was tested very, very harshly last year, and he came through it so much better for it. And it's got to be the same thing here, Grady. I mean, I know you're tired. I know you're beat up. I know that you've been, playing a lot, and it's very tough to lose over and over again. But you got to go through this just like you did last year, and you'll be so much better and stronger for it. We saw the results of how you were when you went through it and you came through the other side and really broke through to something else. And that was really astounding considering where you were in your time in the NBA. Well, you got to do it again, and this is on a new level. This is as a starter, and this is just how it is, man. It's unfortunate. 1 for 6 for Grady, 1 for 4 for 3, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 3 turnovers, minus 8 with only 3 points. Yeah, Grady got benched in the second half because he just didn't have it. And that's what happens sometimes with shooters. If you just don't have it on a certain night, the coach will kind of maybe bury you on the bench and give other people time out there. And I don't disagree with that. If it's just not your night, it's just not your night. But I can tell Grady's a little dejected about it. But the thing about it is, Grady, what I just said, remember what you did last year. Because if you do it the way you did it last year and you come through it all like that, strong and confident, you can be so much better for this. And this is just the trials and tribulations. Don't keep your head down, all right? That's what I'm saying. Garrett Temple came in for 4 minutes at the end of the game, hit a couple free throws, got a couple assists and a steal, a plus 11, just like Chris, with 2 points in 4 minutes. Kind of fun to see Garrett out there late. Bruce Brown, what the fuck, man? Oh, Bruce Brown, my guy. Oh, my gosh. Just a disaster. Every time he touches the ball, disaster. 21 minutes for Bruce, 2 of 5 from the field, missed his only 3-point attempt. I mean, this was like the first 3 I'd seen him take in like 3 games, and he was totally nowhere near hitting it. And it's not like, that's something we need, Bruce. If you're a pretty good 3-point shooter, you make some threes that could really help our team right now. But it's like he's not even trying. He managed to get 1 rebound and 1 turnover in 21 minutes out of all the stats. No assists, no steals, not even a block, 1 rebound, 1 turnover, and that's it. And 2 shots that he laid in for 4 points. And in fact, he had some easy shots he fucked up. in the game also, where he absolutely killed momentum for our team because we would have done something really good, but instead he fucked it up and missed the shot. So yeah, what are you doing, man? Are you double agent? Are you an inside man that's trying to run the Raptors organization into the ground right at the very bottom? I don't trust you, cowboy. I really don't trust you. And I was joking on the chat last night. We need to put him out to pasture. Put him home on the range where the deer and the antelope play. Will seldom is heard and is discouraging word. And Bruce Brown will go play cowboy all day. Woo! I don't know. Let's put him out home on the range. Send him out west, the Western Conference somewhere. I don't know. Send them to Dallas. They have a cowboy hat on their logo. I don't know. I'm just saying, get him out of here. Get that garbage out of here is what I'm saying. Davion Mitchell came in and played. I swear I saw him play. But on the box score, it says zeros right across. He came in right at the end of the first half, and he chased the defender down. It was like a specialty substitution just for a final play for the half. And he managed to basically just run and fall out of bounds. And that was the whole entire game for Davion Mitchell, which I'm annoyed with because I really do think, once again, that if we're really trying to do something to try and constructively win, Mitchell and Boucher would be getting to play because those guys are guys that will help us win right now. But them getting kind of ignored and not really looked at, and it says two things. They may not be in the plans for the future. I don't know. It's more likely Davion is than Chris. It could also be saying that they really don't think that they need to find out more about either one of those players because they've played so much and they understand who they are. And that's part of what we're doing now is discovering combos and gelling people together and seeing what works. You know, I don't know. It's weird. I wish Mitchell had gotten Shed's minutes last night. I do. Jacoby Walter came in for 22 minutes and shot 0 for 5, missed all 3 of his threes, and got a 0. That was a really tough game for him. You know, I can give him more leeway on getting an 0 for game in 22 minutes because he's a rookie. And honestly, he's been very steady in production for us for the most part this year so far. So I'll give him allowances for just last night. That's it. Jacoby, don't do it again, though. You need to make points. 1 rebound, 1 assist, 2 steals. A -4, though, in the 22 minutes. So he was really active. That's the one thing about Jacoby. Even though he didn't score a damn point, there was a lot of smart things he did in the game last night that I could see as intangibles and things that were helping the Raptors, either like defensively or going for loose balls. That's another thing that Jacoby's really good at. Have you noticed? Like he has that Dennis Rodman ball tracker off of rebounds. Like he premeditated a ball going to near the free throw line on our offensive side, and he chased down an offensive rebound just by hustling all the players on the court and knowing and having the acumen of understanding where the ball was about to go to and getting to that spot before anybody reacted to go get to it. That's some of the stuff I'm seeing with Jacoby. And that's special shit. And that's the kind of stuff that's going to make him a very good NBA player. And man, he's got it. I love that. So even if he was an offer, I'm still going to give him some credit for that. Oshai came out, and he actually was playing really good before he got hurt. He had a really bad shooting game against Milwaukee, but he bounced back in this one. He was 2 for 2 before he went out with layups and kind of getting transition stuff. 1 assist, 1 steal before he got hurt in 9 minutes. He was only out there for 9 minutes, and then he was out for the whole game. Yeah, I don't know. Once again, the collective of the Raptors, you know, in some ways, look, the Knicks only play like 7 or 8 guys, and they really overplay them. And, they're fatigued with them. What you'd hope that they get fatigued at some point. You could beat them by being tired out. You can't count on that with them. At some point, the Raptors lose this game, the 8th person in the rotation, that they just come out and they're just not quality players, and they're playing like shit. And I've named the 2 players that I think were those 2 players last night. And that's where the team unravels and loses the other side. Is that there's a certain premium that Tom Thibodeau is putting out on the court for the Knicks that, you have to have your team match the standard with. And if we're going to put a certain level of talent, because some people said this last night, I mean, they said it on the broadcast, at some point, The Raptors are getting beat because of a talent deficit between very, very talented starting five of the Knicks that are overplayed. And, in some ways, our guys don't have their legs under them to play those kind of minutes because Emmanuel and RJ have been out so much lately that you got to go to your bench and go a little deeper. And, well, you make the decisions to play Bruce Brown because he has to be showcased for trading. You make the decisions to play Jamal Shed over Davion Mitchell because your emphasis is on development and trying to get the young guys going faster in their NBA careers as rookies. I get all that, but that is contributing to losing right there. Because just like anything, a balloon, a game is a balloon and it's blowing up. You want to blow it up as big as you can so that it's big enough to be a bigger balloon than the other team's balloon by the end of the game. But you can pop your balloon because you just go into disarray. Your team unravels. They get a run put on them and they don't react well and they lose the game. Well, that's what's happening is we're starting the game. We're starting to blow up our balloon. It's pretty much the same size of the Knicks balloon for most of the first half. And then at some point, our bench players are unraveling the game through incompetence and just not playing well and screwing us up. And then boom, all of a sudden the game unravels. There's a 10-point lead and we never come back and overcome it because the talent deficit is too much to overcome too. So it is what it is. We just got to go through this. It's just part of it. And that's all we're doing. We're going through it. That's right. That's all we're doing. We're going through it. So, Reggie's here. Smooth Brown Man, very concerning loss. I know this is a rebuild, but the incremental W's within losses haven't been seeing is a very worrying trend. Well, this is how good the league is. Really, like Reggie, if we think about this, if the NBA is like a bunch of teams in elevators, we went down to the basement in our elevator. And Cleveland, Oklahoma City, Memphis, Orlando, they all went up a couple more floors up above where they were last year. So if we go really far down and everybody up is above us and they have better things going as far as their synergy, their teams working better together, this is part of the problem. Last year it was a lot of trades that disrupted our team flow. We didn't really get a team flow last year either. And we're not getting it this year because of injuries. It's been very, very tough to have our full squad out there and get some good chemistry and charisma going between all our players on the court. But without having all the barbecue until recently, we're starting now. And that sucks. That's tough. And in some ways, all the other teams in the league have 3-month head start on us. Does that make sense? So, I mean, listen, we can't the percentage of winning and losing for the Raptors right now, as I was saying earlier, is very, very slim. We have maybe a 10% chance of winning any game, maybe even less in certain games like tonight. And we've got to understand that, Reggie. It's like it's so hard to win in this league. And if you don't have a whole lot going good for your team, you have to worry about your team being perfect and the other team has to be shitty to an extent for you to actually overcome them and beat them. That's just how it is right now. And we have to accept our place as one of the bottom 5 teams in the league. In fact, ESPN has an article out today with a mock draft, and they've got us picking at 4th on their article here. They've got Washington taking Cooper Flagg, number 1. Dylan Harper going 2nd to the Pelicans. Ace Bailey going to the Jazz at 3. And then, of course, we're at 4, and we're picking VJ Edgecombe, shooting guard for Baylor. It says the Raptors appear destined for a high draft pick and could be in the market for a combo guard such as Edgecombe, who can play on or off the ball alongside franchise stalwart Scotty Barnes. Although Edgecombe has been up and down for Baylor, teams remain intrigued. His explosiveness, improving feel, and impressive defensive playmaking, 5.1% steal rate, 4.6 block rate, and are key attributes that point to his upside. He might need to perform better offensively to secure a spot this high in the draft. His shooting has been subpar, but front offices will work to understand the on-court context of his season as he's been playing away from the ball quite a bit on a guard-driven team. If Edgecombe can turn a corner through the thick of conference play, he'll strengthen his draft case here. Well, he's another Baylor guy, so he must be familiar with Jacoby and Davion. So I don't know. I mean, this is weird. What do you guys think of ESPN saying that we are on tap to get VJ Edgecombe, shooting guard for Baylor? Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. I see just a couple of picks after that. They got Igor at number 8 going to Sacramento, the point guard from BYU that we looked at. And Malak is actually at 11 for Duke to go to Detroit Pistons on this mock draft here. Malak is all the way down at 11. So, yeah, I was trying to look at some of the names we've already looked at and seeing where they are and how they're placed in this ESPN mock draft that came out this morning. Yeah, VJ Edgecombe. Yeah, what do you guys think about that? We'll do a scout tomorrow. Maybe we'll do it on him tomorrow. Today's too crazy with a preview and a reaction on the same day. Trevor J saying that wildfires in California destroy over 10,000 homes. That's crazy, plus businesses. Yes, this is very dangerous stuff. Climate change is real. And, in a trend that seems really stupid, we have government officials that are getting elected that are really, in some ways, probably aren't really getting elected. They're scamming the system, and they're getting their way in by paying people off, I'm sure. I mean, I feel like that about Doug Ford. I feel like that about the U.S. election that just happened. They're paying people to get into their offices. And then they're just doing business deals and doing crazy stuff that they don't care about stuff. Like, Ford's going to cut the money for the firefighters, and then we have forest fires in Ontario. We don't fight them very well. It's the same shit in the States. They try and privatize things. They try to not give public funding for public services. And, well, thousands of houses burned down in California because the infrastructure, the safety net, is gutted by people that are trying to save money, like Elon Musk. Going to take all the money and the fat cat spending in government. Well, maybe some of that spending is important because there are actually services that people need. Like, my house is burning down in California right now, and where's the fire department? Oh, you didn't put enough funding in the fire department, so we don't have enough people to protect the houses that are burning down in California right now. That's a problem right there. You run government like a business, you're going to fuck up the world because you're not thinking about the human costs. You're not thinking about the reality of the situation. You're only thinking about budgets and money and economics. Fuck you, businessmen that are politicians that try and run shit. I will give one thing to Doug Ford right now. He's standing strong against Donald Trump and his Canada bullshit right now. Doug Ford, you may get me on your side for being a proud Canadian and telling Donald Trump to fuck off. So in some ways, you actually earned some points with me recently with your strong talk about how Canada is not for sale. I appreciate that. I actually do. I'll do things fair and fair when things happen with politicians that I agree with. Well, this is one where I'll stand with Doug Ford on this. His feelings about Canada becoming the 51st state is bullshit. Yeah, there you go. Let's keep going. Smooth saying, IQ got the Raptors back in the game and immediately put Shed in. Toronto down 12. Game over. Scotty Barnes, no impact. 18 empty points. Yeah. No, I saw this too. That Emmanuel was fighting and he had us getting on track. And then we just kind of maybe there were some poor decisions to put Shed back in at a bad time in the second half. I agree with this. I don't know. I think Scotty faded away near the end of the game and just didn't come up for the challenge. And he could have done it, but he didn't. And in some ways, it's part of the learning process. It's like he's getting closer. At least he's doing more at different times in the game on that level of being like that. It's just not going to be consistently for the whole game yet. It's kind of like before when Scotty played. He was like, okay, Scotty's fantastic for most of the game. He's not doing much for most of the game, but he's fantastic in the fourth quarter. That kind of stuff. It's like Scott's weird, man. Like he's learning stuff on his own pace. And in some ways, I know Raptors fans are impatient for him to just be perfect and take over games and do that, but it doesn't work that way. And in some ways, he's got to go through all this to get to be the absolute best version of himself. And he'll figure it out. But like I said, you only live once, Scott, and you got to start taking these opportunities and being successful with them. And I can blame a little bit of Darko once again on rotational decisions with Shed, Submarine in our game last night. I can get behind you on this. Yeah. Trevor's saying Cleveland looks like the real deal this year. They beat OKC last night. That's no small thing. Like OKC ended the Knicks' long winning streak recently, and then the Cavs were saying, nope, you're not going to do that to us. You're going to come into our building, we're going to beat you. And that's a real accomplishment. That's what I'm saying. If they beat the Thunder last night, well, how much of a chance do we have tonight against them? Let's find out. We got to play the game and go through it and see what can be possible. Cavs could have an off night, and we could play very, very closely to perfect. We could win. But that's the only parameters that'll get us the win. is we have to play very, very close to perfect, and the Cavs have to be absolute shit and be really off for us to win. That's the way it's working right now, guys. Nako's saying, I like barbecue overall last night. The first half of the game was all right. Yeah. Yeah. And I like the way they're playing off each other. Like I said, you guys can't just look at a couple few games and just say, yeah, this team is not going to work and it's not going to make it. We've got to really understand the average age of our team and how much they need to grow up. And that's not something that happens overnight. You don't grow up overnight. You're going to have to take time to grow up. And that's the thing that's a big reason why Raptors fans need to be patient. Is our average age of our team is a certain place. And if this is the nucleus and this is the team we got to keep together, well, we got to keep them together. And we got to stop having knee-jerk reactions and change our underwear every morning because we're saying, oh, we got to change this. We got to change this. No, you got to stick with it and go through the failure and the losing to get to the other good stuff. And we will get there. Trust me. Seriously, Scotty, RJ, and Emmanuel are too good to allow this to happen for too long. And if it doesn't get anywhere at some point, we're going to trade and we're going to get an even better player. And they're going to come in and they're going to, that's what the process is with the rebuild. We're going to keep trying stuff until something more and more stuff is working and we're getting more and more success. That's just how it is right there. That's right. Smith saying there has to be progress within losses. And I'm very worried that the team has started to mail it in. The onus is on Darko. He has to show that teaching skill like Dwayne Casey. I see this, what you're saying, though. I see what you're saying, but I don't agree with you. There is progress in these losses. There's a progress in this game last night compared to the Bucks game from a game-to-game standpoint. They got better effort. They had better compete. They actually stood toe-to-toe with a very good Knicks starting five for most of the game. And that it's frustrating, but we were closer to winning than we were in the games before. So that's progress, Smooth. You have to give them credit for that. I'm sorry. You have to give them credit for that. You can't say that you don't see any progress. There's progress there. If you really look, you have to give them credit for that. And they're not mailing it in. No, they're not. That's not fair to say to them. In fact, that's probably even more infuriating for them to hear that from fans. Oh, they're mailing it in. Bullshit. These guys are busting their ass and they're not getting anywhere. And that's the hardest thing to do in the league is to continue to work as hard as possible when you are only getting defeats. And that's why I can't get behind you on this. They showed a better effort last night than Milwaukee. And that's another area you have to give them credit on progressing. Seriously. So be a little bit more like, you can't be all or nothing on it and saying, well, they didn't get the win. They didn't have this and this. This is why I'm saying they're not progressing, Lex. But no, if you really look closely, Reggie, you can see that there are things that they're progressing and getting better. They may have a backslide in the next game tonight, but who knows? Maybe they go in another step progressing. And in the morning tomorrow, we'll say, you know what? The Raptors didn't win, but we saw them progressing and doing some things even better in this area and this thing. And they did this. And wow, I'm surprised and I'm shocked and I'm happy about this. Moral victories, little small victories. That's all we got right now in some ways. We get real victories. That's fantastic. But in some ways, we have to understand that progress is not just in the W and the L. It has to be also in the very, very small minutia and the little things that happen in an NBA game also. And there's no mailing it in, trust me. He has to show this teaching skill. He's shown it. Like I've said, we've said this on the channel. We have so many guys on our team right now that are having career years that have never played this well before. Emmanuel, RJ, Jakob, Chris Boucher, Scotty, they're all having the best year of their pro lives right now. Grady Dick, best year of his pro career. Obviously, it's easy for him. That's what I'm saying. So, I mean, you got to look at it and really give it the full credit because it's there. Smith saying his subs are weird, his use of challenges, etc. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to get behind on this one because in some ways, this has been a real problem. The challenges have been stupid, really, really stupid. I don't understand why he challenges when he challenges like that because it's just really dumb. Like he's using it way too early and he's using it on stuff that doesn't really matter. It's like Jackson pointed out. You may need to go talk to Jack, Darko, and get on the same page with Jack. He might need to counsel you on how to use your challenge better because Jack's very much saying the right things in the broadcast. I think one of the rules should be you're not allowed to call a challenge in the first half at all. At all. None of them. And especially, why would you call a challenge on the game that play that you called the challenge on last night? That was such a dumb challenge call. It didn't matter. It's not like free throws were involved. It was like the stakes were not that good. As Jack said, risk reward is not getting thought out correctly on this. And in some ways, this is a weakness that is very glaring, that is part of the ammunition for people that don't like you, Darko, and want you fired already. And in some ways, you need to improve this seriously, because I can't defend you on this. Your challenge theory is really, really bad. And your record for challenges is evidenced in this. You know, Jack was talking about last night. I mean, it's sure the Knicks will probably have a really good challenge record, partly because the NBA head office is in New York, and they're going to try and help the Knicks any way they can, and they will make up rules to justify a successful challenge for a team that they're trying to help. Yeah, they'll do that. So I'm not surprised. Thibodeau's very cautious about when he calls it, and it's more likely he's going to win it. And the NBA wants to help the Knicks. Well, that's why they have such a good challenge record. It's like 11-4 or something like that, is what they said, or something like that. Really crazy good challenge record for the Knicks. Meanwhile, ours is a losing challenge record, where we've won like 10 challenges, but we've lost like 14 or something. 10-14 for challenges for Darko this year. Yeah, I can't agree with when he took it, what he took it for, and just losing that opportunity and that advantage for nothing. Like, why? It's like you don't even care about the challenge. Maybe some of the NBA coaches know the challenge may not be here in the next couple of years because it's kind of been a fail, so they don't take it as seriously. I don't know. I would be gaming every single thing that's involved in the NBA to try and take advantage of to help your team to the best possible thing. And I don't think challenge theory is something that Darko is doing a very good job with. I mean, I don't want to criticize the coach, but this is a real huge shortcoming that is not making any sense to me. It really isn't. I mean, the pattern of the way you're doing the challenges is absolutely dreadful, Darko. And I can't defend you on that one. The rotation, sure. Recently, I think this has more to do with the direction from the front office, telling him what to do with who he has to play, than him, picking Shed over Davion. To me, it's like, I wouldn't do that. But maybe Masai's calling him and telling him, yeah, you need to play Shed. I want you to play Shed. And that may be why. Bruce Brown, obviously, we know why he's being forced to play him. Obviously, we see that. Yeah. Yeah. All right, let's keep going. Let's see. Smooth saying, in all seriousness, this team is on pace to win 13 games. They better get a top 3 pick for this shit. Yeah, I mean, once again, in life, the best way to live is with no expectations, and beautiful opportunities and things happen for you out of the blue. If you can live that way, it's tough because in some ways, everybody thinks, if we're going to suffer, we're going to go in misery, we should get something for it, for a compensation. Have you been hurt in an at-home accident or on the job accident? You could call and get compensation. 1-800-compensation. Why do nothing's guaranteed in this life, and this life's not fair. So there's not any guarantee we're going to get anything. We need to be grateful for what we get, and hopefully good things and blessings come our way. That's what I would say. But yeah, I mean, I think it would be awesome if we got a top pick. It may not be a top 3 pick, but we'll see. We'll see. I mean, listen, if we're on pace to get 13 games, so be it. This is just a lot that you get when you rebuild, especially at this particular time in NBA history, when there's not as many bad teams all of a sudden. Everybody's got their shit together to a certain extent, except for maybe 5 teams in this league. And we're like one of those 5 teams right now. So that is part of the problem right here. Smith saying Darko will be reevaluated at the end of the year. Firing him now makes no sense. Yeah, absolutely makes no sense in the middle of the year. And I'm going to tell people right now, even if we have one of the worst records in Raptors history at the end of the year, he won't get fired for that. He won't. Especially because in some ways, he's doing the things that Masai wants him to do. You can tell. Masai's always said Darko's doing a great job, and he's doing what we're telling him to do. And that may be part of the reason why they're losing, is because Masai's telling them to not necessarily lose, but maybe he's manipulating him with parameters as far as like, yeah, don't play Chris right now. Don't play Chris right now. Play Shed over Davion, and we have to play Bruce because we're trading him, and we need to have him on the court to show people he's healthy and he has value still. And that's probably likely. The Masai's more hands-on, and he's probably part of the mystery with some of the weird shit with the rotation and why Darko's doing certain things. Yeah. Maybe if Darko really had his choice, that he's not playing Bruce Brown at all, guys. It really could be that way. And it may be that he's playing way more Chris Boucher and Davion Mitchell. So, yeah. I mean, all right, let's see. Kareem's here. Kareem Thomas, good morning to you, Dunk Master. I know it's going to take time for our guys to get acclimated, but there's something fundamentally wrong when we had better effort and better defense earlier this year. Not really. It's called fatigue, man. It just really is the grind of the season. It's a crazy season, and they make these guys play such weird beats. Like if this was Guitar Hero, there's no rhythm to the notes that you have to hit in the schedule with the games as they come. You really kind of haphazard. Like most songs have a beat, and they kind of have some, unless it's some sort of crazy psycho jazz or some abstract experimental music or something like that. There's usually a beat that you can kind of follow with a tempo, so to speak. But that's the thing is the NBA season hadn't got no beat. If it was a Guitar Hero song and the games were coming down the line, you'd be like tonight. We played last night. We're gonna play again tonight. All of a sudden, beep, beep. It's like a beep, beep. And then 2 days off. Beep, 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 beep. That's how the schedule is. And once again, remember, our team was very, very hurt this year. So a lot of our deep roster has played a lot of extra minutes. Some of them are young and they're rookies and they hit rookie walls already. And also, it's just, there's been sickness on our team too. There's been a lot of wear and tear on our team. So it makes total sense that they don't look as energized and effort-wise as they did fresh in the beginning of the season. That's a huge, huge part of it, Kareem. This is a long voyage through an NBA season, and there's a lot of endurance to it to play it at a high level and do that. That's why these teams have to have good, fully rosters because they're gonna need 10th or 12th men at some point during the season to fill in something here or something there, because it's just like that. So I don't know. The effort has been up and down recently. It's true. But they have good excuses in some ways because they're tired, they're sick, and they're beaten down mentally. You can be fresh coming in the season. You have a promise, and it starts unraveling and folding, and you see, oh crap, things are really going bad. That's hard on you up here. And how hard is it to get motivated when you know you may be losing no matter what? There's a lot to beat here and defeat, Kareem. We got to give them more credit. More credit. I understand why they were way better at the beginning of the year, and now they're kind of having trouble right now. I get it. It's fatigue. It's fatigue. It's simply fatigue. Yeah. Kareem saying the system they were running when Yak was putting up them godly numbers should be re-implemented. Yeah, I would like that. I mean, there's a couple probably different factors. It could be that teams are playing us differently with their defensive approaches, and they're trying not to allow us to get those kind of situations. The other thing was Yak was out and with his groin thing last month, and that kind of threw his rhythm off for the season, from what I can tell, as far as the very high level play that he had earlier in the season compared to since he came back. He's just not being used as much or the hub of things as much. And it partly is also the health of barbecue being full strength again and stuff like that. So there's a couple of things going on there, but I like the fact that they're still getting the ball to Jakob, and he really is like the emergency drop off to get a point at the end of a 24-second clock. And also, he is still very much getting to be touching the ball on most offensive possessions. So he's still involved there, but I think the health of all three barbecue being back in some ways may take his numbers a little bit more down. But I get what you're saying. I'm all about going heavy on Jakob Poeltl in our offense. I'm all about what you're saying. I'm all about it. But he's lost a little bit of his personal rhythm for games just since the groin injury, and he has to find that again. Monique is saying, good morning, Raptor Freak crew. Good first half, second half, not so much. I love IQ's game so much last night. Love Chris's impact as soon as he came in down the stretch. And Eugene signed to a 10-day. Very, very happy about Eugene. And in fact, that'll be my cue to go do the Instagram stories. Toronto Tempo have announced that they have a partnership with Sephora. Sephora is going to be a corporate partner with the Toronto Tempo for the new WNBA franchise. So there you go. New corporate partnership with Sephora and Toronto Tempo, guys. Let's see who else we got on here. There's a Eugene, as I just talked about. back when they return back to UK, Canada. Okay, this is a Nigerian guy. I don't know. He's cleaning the toilet or something. I don't know what's going on there, Eugene. And there he is celebrating his own news from last night. Raptors signed Eugene Omoruyi to a 10-day contract, and he's hyped. This is so good. Darko talking about it in the post game last night, saying it's great to have a local talent coming to the team. He's been working very hard on the 905 level, and we're very happy to give him this opportunity and reward for playing so well on that lower level and coming in. And it's one of those rare transactions that actually happened during the game last night, where Kayla Gray got to kind of announce it on the air. Of course, we saw it on Twitter just before she said it. But yeah, that doesn't happen very often. Besides doing a transaction in the middle of an active Raptors game and signing somebody like that. So very cool. Kayla went up to him and said, "Oh, you're working right now?" He's like, "I'm always working, Kayla." Of course, Masai's always working. And yeah, there's another one. He even filmed it on the TV screen when he saw it. Eugene, he's got like a phone camera film footage of them announcing Eugene Omoruyi signed a 10-day contract and Masai's face on the TV. Pretty cool. Slim Duck, happy birthday once again, man. There's your highlights of you warming up before the game last night. 3 stages of life: birth, a Wenda Bomba Clot, this, and then death. There you go. Okay. Man, happy birthday to you, man. Champ never quits. There you go. Yeah, love seeing you do that stuff on the eve of your birthday. A little bit of a birthday present to yourself. Getting out there and showing some self-love by putting baskets in the hoop. Jacoby walking into the New York game last night up the ramp with his pink rookie bag with a really happy smiley face, and it says joy. Joy. He gets it. He understands. You got to go through it to earn it. And in some ways, Jacoby's got the right head on his shoulders, and he's weathering all this in the right way. He understands. He's doing it right. He's going to figure it out. He's going to figure it out. That's right. That's right. He's going to figure it out. AJ Lawson showing off him in the Raptors gear recent weeks. Really loving that childhood dream fulfilled for him, wearing all the Raptors uniforms and showing the collage of different times he's played for the Raptors so far on 905 and the Raptors. There he is at home with his French Bulldogs, his amigos. Love to see that. So cute to see those dogs. And then he's celebrating Eugene signing the 10-day contract. Of course, Lawson's been playing with Eugene on the 905 in recent weeks. And these guys are for each other. And they're looking out and they want to celebrate each other's victories. And I love that. I love that team unity. Shamshe was at an event yesterday. First of all, we got Brian Leftwich, the coach, assistant coach for 905, is putting on dance moves, and Shamshe likes it, man. He's like posted him on his Instagram because he thinks he's a really good dancer. And then he said on his head, Manny. So something happened there. Also, just so y'all know, the 905 went to an event yesterday at Holland Blurview, and Shamshe played wheelchair basketball with the athletes there and learned about playing wheelchair basketball. And there's some good footage of 905 there. In an event with the Holland Blurview, Holland Blurview. Yeah, that's yeah. Monique knows about them, and yeah, it's good to see 905 there hanging out with them yesterday. Let's see. The Battle is celebrating a soccer win this time. Usually, Jamison Battle celebrating Minnesota Vikings. Well, I don't even know these teams, their logos or anything. I don't know anything about soccer, but somebody won in full time, 1-0. I'll say that. Matt Devlin's got the TikTok dancers on blast. The TikTok trio. There they are. Jag, you got to work on your rhythm, bro. Doc Rivers called you out, bro. Coach has called you out, my guy. Jag, you got to work on your rhythm, man. You're no good. I see Kayla and Matt going one way, and you're going the other. Jack Armstrong, you have to pause what you're saying. Because at one point in the game last night, you said they'll be coming down their throats. Don't say shit like that, Ron Jeremy. What are you doing, man? You said that in the game last night. They'll be coming down your throats. I'm like, whoa, bro. Pause. Phrasing. Jack Armstrong. Whoa, my guy. Come on now. Ron Jeremy. Come on, my guy. No. Don't ever use that combination of words again on the broadcast. Ever. People will clip that shit. Put it up all over the place. Somebody's gonna go find it now that I said that. They're like, oh, did he really say that during the game? Yeah, he did. If you paid attention, you heard him say that exact phrase last night. I'm like, why did you say that? There's Scotty doing the shoot around before the game at MSG last night. Yeah, they wore the purple jerseys last night. And I like the look because there is history with those purple jerseys in Madison Square Garden against the Knicks, with Alvin and Vince against the Knicks in the early playoffs of the Raptors history. So there was a little bit of a nostalgia to wearing our purple front blackbacks in New York last night, which was all right. But they lost in the purple jerseys. And you know my theory about that. That's right. Yeah. So, yeah, I don't even want to look at these highlights or things from the score last night. It is what it is. Game day, Jamal Shed on there for a 7 o'clock tip-off in Cleveland against the Cavaliers tonight, baby. There's the footage of them at Holland Bloorview Kids Rehabilitation Hospital on the 905 stories, and they had different people speaking. And then there's Shamshay actually in the wheelchair playing wheelchair basketball with the athletes that play wheelchair basketball. And it looks really cool. Shamshay's learning some tips from one guy teaching him. So, you know, Shamshay's going to learn basketball in a lot of different forms being here in Canada now. And there you go. They're awesome to see the athletes getting to hang out with the 905 and a great player like Ulrich Shamshay and putting the shots up. There's Jamison Battle bombing threes in a wheelchair from outside. He actually had a really good shot there. He's got range in the wheelchair, even without his legs. Jamison there. That's awesome, man. Jamison Battle's really cool. Yeah, shout out to our friends at Holland Bloorview and the great event yesterday with the Raptors 905 visiting them yesterday. Fantastic stuff. Let's see. What else do we got in here? Davion Mitchell, it's got a picture of him spinning the ball on his finger, number 45. And Jamal Shed is celebrating Texas University football team, Longhorns. That's right. There you go. There's your Instagram. Real quick, Instagram. Yeah, Eugene Omeroy, very jubilant about being a 10-day contract with the Raptors. Very, very cool. Very, very cool. Cool Cat is here. Speaking of cool. Good morning, Raptor Free crew. Tough schedule continues. The experience is good for this young team. Year one rebuild. Stay strong and be patient, everyone. Boom goes the dynamite. We're going to give Cool Cat the first dunk of the day for being a voice of reason and logic in a very unreasonable fan base that cannot stand losing. And there you go. Three-pointer for you, Cool Cat. Your first dunk of the 2025 right there. I thank you, and you're exactly right. It's like stay calm. It's like, what is that British saying? They put it up there. Stay calm and watch basketball or something like that. Kareem saying Boucher with 10 points and was our fourth leading scorer with 4 minutes. Garbage time. That's insane. I know it's insane. That's why we got to get these cardio merchants off our team. We're going to filter through them like sediment in a river trying to find a gold nugget. That's right. We're going to find it. Get this figured out, prospector. Oh, Yosemite Sam motherfuckers. You got to go prospect for that gold. And, well, you got to sift through the crap to get to the gold that's going to stick around. You can ask the Bucks. They sift through a lot of crap to get the team that they build around Giannis. Well, we're going to have to do that, too. I mean, we did it last year. You know, last year in the second half of the season, the mode we were in is kind of where we are again this year. Right now is we're going to be trying out 10 days like, people from the 905 like Omeroy. And we're going to have elevated people like Jordan Wara and Mohamedou Gay and Javon Freeman Liberty. And these guys are not a part of our plans anymore right now. Well, that's what I'm saying. You bring in a new cast every season for American Idol. Not everybody's winning it, right? So we got to try guys out, see how they are. And if they're not working in a progressive way to have a future with us that's helpful, well, we got to cut them loose. DJ Carton, one of the players this year that we've let go because we just didn't see the path getting to a place. Well, that's some of the tough decisions we got to make as an organization and trying new people and seeing who gels and seeing what works, seeing who's useful in what way to help us get back to Larry O'Brien somehow, some way for the second time. And, well, it's a long road, and we've got a lot of figuring out to do still right now. It is insane, and it is a weird thing, but also we got to wonder why. Why is Chris not getting played? It's just like last year. It's a similar thing, and I don't think it's necessarily Darko at this point. I think the designation is partly coming from the front office on what is happening with that. Trevor J saying, so we have 2 G League referees from Canada. There's actually more refs from Canada than just the 2, I believe. But there was history made recently in a G League game that 2 Canadian officials, or 2 out of the 3 officials were Canadian. And that was Matt Callio of Edmonton, Alberta, and Amare Malo of Montreal, the 2 referees from Canada. that were officiating a G League game. That's history. There's Canadian stuff happening all the time in this league. Like earlier this season, when we played a game, we had the most Canadians play in one game, and we had the most Canadians get double digits in a game in that same game. So there's a lot of achievements happening with Canada on the rise in the world of basketball, and it should be happening not just in the NBA, but also in the WNBA in the next few years. That's right. Yeah, it's very, very cool. Smooth saying, just give Grady and RJ the ball, man. I'm with you on that. Give Scotty the ball too, because he's been very fruitful and amazing. I love the way Scotty's shooting so crisply. Like I'm saying, the shot looks like Kawhi's sometimes, the way he releases and it goes right through the net. And he's so unstoppable with those mid-range turnarounds right now. It's so Leonard-like. And I love seeing it. I knew he could get there like that with this kind of stuff, because there's so many comparisons to him as Kawhi physically that, the strength and speed combination will allow him to do Kawhi-like stuff on offense. I called it when he was a rookie. I said it before he did any of this stuff. I said, he's going to be able to do Kawhi stuff. And then we saw it. I'm like, you just trust me. And it had a lot to do with him getting his shooting right. It really did. And he's really worked on his shooting. And Scotty is a money shooter. I love that step into three that he made last night. Was very, very confident. And as Jack said on the broadcast, that's a really smart timing of trying one of those and making it and, doing that. He's had ill-advised threes earlier in the season where he took a lot and maybe not at the right times. But a lot of the three-pointers that Scotty's taken more recently have fit in the flow of the game, and they've been very smart shot selection, because there were a lot of shots that he was selecting earlier in the season. I was like, yeah, I wouldn't have selected that. But he's doing a better job of picking and choosing when to do his three-point shots. Nameless is saying winter training camp edition 2025 in full effect. Yeah, this is becoming a tradition 2 years in a row now in January. The Raptors are going to have a second training camp of the season in midpoint of the season, because of trading a whole bunch of people, because injuries took your team away from you, and you finally just got healthy just now. Yeah, this is a fair thing to say. I know you're joking around. It's funny. It's training camp at Christmas, y'all. Woo, woo. He says that with pain, a little tear in the side of his eye. He's like, yeah, woo, yeah, fire. But I'm really crying inside and hurting. My paisano, it's okay, my guy. Ever seen a training camp mid-season before? I have not. First time for everything. No, this happened last year. You don't remember we had training camp in January last year, Nameless? I was saying the same damn thing last year after we traded OG for RJ and IQ, and Pascal got traded. And then we got new guys from Utah. Yeah, I said we're in training camp all over again, because we just changed our whole entire team, and they got to learn how to play together. It's the same stuff. So, no, don't say this is the first time you ever seen this. You saw this last year, Nameless. Don't even lie. You saw this last year. G saying the Cavs didn't rebuild and didn't build around their rookie. They retooled. Toronto went a very different route. Rebuilds take years. Yeah. I think that's accurate, what G's saying. That, they didn't fully tear down their team at any point. I mean, in some ways you could argue LeBron leaving and going out west was when the rebuild started. And it's just that they've been in the rebuild for 6 years now? Yeah. And that's it right there. They've been in a rebuild for 6 years on the down low when LeBron turned his back on them and went to the Lakers. And that all that progress that they've gotten to now is in 6 years' time. And we got to understand that and think about that seriously. That was they bottomed out when LeBron left, right? And they rebuilt from there. So you could say it was a retool, but no, the rebuild happened 6 years ago when James went to the Western Conference. And this is just where they are at 6 years into a rebuild. They're in a very good place. And that's what I would say right there. That's what it is right there. Smooth saying at Nameless, great way of reframing it. Yeah, like I said, we did this last year too. Everything was so new in January, and all the other teams were hitting their strides in the part of the season. And this was part of the reason why we had a really bad part of the second half of the year, is we were hurt. We didn't have any rebound in the defense, but also we were trying to learn our team together late in the season when everybody's kind of in full gear and they're just humming along what they're doing on their teams. And it's just part of it. In some ways, this year has been racked by injuries. Has really been the huge thing right now. Yeah. Let's see. Mischief saying, my first 3 seconds of watching, I always throw a like. I appreciate that, Jay. I appreciate that, man. I really do. I appreciate a draft guru like you, man. Name is saying, if this organization was overly concerned about winning this season, they wouldn't be housing training camp under a Christmas tree. Yeah, I get your joke, but it's not worth making right now. In fact, training camp didn't start until New Year's. So don't even say that. You can't say that they house training camp under a Christmas tree. Nameless, we can't plan for injuries. We can't plan for injuries. If that injury luck happens to your team, well, it went in the wrong way. It didn't happen. I'd rather it happen in a rebuild like this at times than when we're like a very top level and the window's very close and small for winning a championship. And you have one of your years that you could possibly win a championship that is destroyed ravaged by injuries. So in some ways, if you're going to have injury periods of your franchise, it's better to have it in a rebuild when you're already losing anyway. You want to have this injury year, like when we're striking for a championship? That's what I'm saying. Perspective, man. Perspective on this. Seriously. Perspective. This organization is not overly worried about winning this year. It's obvious. So, yeah, get with the program. Milbester saying, gee, my cousin is a Cavs fan. It's Milbester. They don't rebuild. They regrouped around their drafted players before they got good. They didn't need a rebuild. No, I'm going to stand by what I said. When LeBron left, that was when they started the rebuild, and that was 6 years ago. So they're 6 years into a rebuild. It doesn't look like a rebuild because they were really bad just after LeBron left, and that was when they were going through the time we're going through right now. And think about it. They didn't just get Donovan Mitchell over time right away. No, they traded and got him a couple years ago. They drafted Evan Mobley when we drafted Scotty Barnes. They made the trade to get Jared Allen after he was on New Jersey on the Brooklyn Nets. None of this shit happened overnight, guys. And there was a true rebuild in Cleveland. It's just that you guys aren't including the period of time where it happened. You're only looking at when most of the players showed up and they started working together. So the rebuild happened. It just happened in 2019, 2020. And they got things going in the right direction. And they've had a lot of good things added since. Donovan Mitchell, drafting Darius Garland, getting Kenny Atkinson as their coach this year. These have all added to bringing them up. And yeah, there is a true rebuild. You can say as a retool in more recent years. Yeah, because they started the rebuild after LeBron left. Yeah, that's what I say right there. Conducting training camp. You know what? Listen, a rebuilding team is in training camp all year round because they need to train and they need to learn, and that's where they're at. And I mean, I don't know if this is an insult. I don't know if you're trying to say, oh, our team sucks so bad, we're in a rebuild. You know, a team that's in a bad place is always rebuilding, and they're always in training camp because they have to train to get better, to be better. So I don't get this point of view, man. I really don't. And honestly, we're going to have to do this no matter what. It's not like we have a choice. So it's like, oh, get mad at the team because they're in a training camp mode all of a sudden. No, it's unfortunate. I wish we were a well-oiled top playoff team that's just humming along like a lot of teams are in this league right now. But we're not. We're a team that is in a rebuild, and all times are training camp for us. Regular season games, preseason games, summer league games, G League games. It's all training camp. So get over this whole idea of what you're trying to say today, Paisano, is what I'm saying. So we're saying, yep, increased trade value for Chris Boucher. Yeah, I think his trade value went up last night. That's for sure. I mean, if we're going to gauge the quality of play between Chris Boucher and Bruce Brown as to whether they want to play for us, man, Bruce really wants to play for us still. And Chris might be ready to leave because he's playing his ass off. He's looking a lot more attractive. And he may be way easier to trade right now than Bruce Brown right now with $23 million for that garbage he's putting out there. Oh my gosh. Bruce, are you submarining? Because you're like, I love Toronto. I just want to be in Toronto, man. I don't want to go nowhere. They don't have Timbits down there. So I got to play shitty. So Masai can't trade me. I don't want that. Mo said, such a good season for Oshai, man. And now this. Yeah, hopefully it won't be that bad. Hopefully he just got kicked in the wind knocked out of him in the gut a little bit. You know, maybe they let him leave the game for precautionary. You know, it's a back-to-back situation. He's already hurt. You know, go ahead and save him. I like how Darko pulled the guys late because he knew the game was over and we weren't making a very strong comeback and actually gave them rest because they're going to have to play tonight. You know, who knows? Maybe Oshai is going to be available tonight. After all, I'd probably say he's probably going to miss the game, though. My educated opinion. just because it's a back-to-back. If this game had been a day between or 2 days in between, he may have been able to not miss a game. G saying, Milbester, that's what I said. Retooled, you called it regrouped. Laugh out loud. They were able to do that because they traded for Mitchell. Without him, this regroup wouldn't have worked the same. Yeah. Once again, you guys got to remember, the rebuild started when LeBron left, and that is when it really started. So they're 6 years in, guys. You got to give them the early futility of after LeBron left, and they were a horrible team, and they were not making the playoffs, and they were in a bad place. That's what I have to say to you guys right there. That's right. Name is saying we're only doing now what other teams have been doing since September. No, don't get it twisted. We did this before them, even in July. We've been doing this since July, my guy. We've been in a training camp since July. Yeah, it's just how it is. Nameless, just let go of this, man. This whole training camp trope is just not useful because Darko's philosophies and any basketball coach's philosophies is every day is a training camp, and every day you try and win it and you try and get better. So it's the logic of you putting down the team for being in a training camp mode still, it just doesn't stick because that's what a basketball team is constantly, whether they're winning or not. These guys are just at a higher level of excellence right now, the Knicks and the Cavs. And in some ways, you know, they're training camp for higher level mechanics and dynamics of their team in more intimate, intricate situations and specific things. We're just trying to get the basics down right now. That's the difference. Every team's in a training camp always learning, always striving to be better. So let's not get it twisted. I don't understand why you're going off on this particular point today. It doesn't make sense. Training camps every day in the NBA for all 30 teams. That's right. They're just on different levels of aptitude. Sure, we're in like preschool, and the Cavs are in graduate school and university. That's just what it is right there. It's what I just said right there. We're in we're in elementary school learning elementary school basketball NBA, and there's other teams that are working on their doctorate right now. Does that make sense? That's why this is happening. Does that make sense? All right, let's see. Most saying that. Yep. Okay, let's see. Read that already. Kareem saying, seeing we are going up against Twin Towers tonight, should we start Kelly and Boucher alongside Yak to match their size, or just get obligated and get the circus show continue? Let the circus show continue. Well, the circus show going to continue either way, guys. Once again, y'all are not doing this expectation thing as well as I am. You guys shouldn't have any expectations to win right now. You shouldn't have any expectations to be pissed off because they're losing and be like, you shouldn't be doing this. You should just let it go right now. Elsa, Frozen, just let it go, let it go, let it go, whether the Raptors win or not, and just watch the games and enjoy them. If they don't win, it's just what it is right now. So let's stop putting so much importance on winning and losing right now and just understand the assignment. And once again, I'll say this. It's like obligated and let the circus show continue. What do you mean? We're just playing basketball and we're not as good as other teams and we're going to make mistakes is what it is right there. No, we shouldn't do that starting lineup. We should start our regular players. And Scotty will match up with Evan Mobley. And Jakob should match up with Jarrett. And we'll figure it out from the rest of them. You know, Grady, maybe he's going to be running around after the small forward, Okoro. And then we'll have RJ probably guarding maybe Mitchell or Garland. And then, yeah, or I don't know. I don't know how you do that. Maybe you go small and you put two. Maybe Grady comes off the bench in this game and you bring Davion Mitchell into the starting lineup with Emmanuel to match up with Donovan and Darius. I think that would be smart, Darko. Maybe you put in Davion Mitchell in the starting lineup with Emmanuel quickly, and you have two little guards against two little guards that can run around and kind of try and match them in some ways. I would maybe do that, seriously. I mean, that used to be a way of doing things in the NBA. It seems like nobody's doing anything like the classic NBA used to. Like, they forgot about all the old fundamentals. Like, you make your starting lineup to try and match up the size on the side. This is what Kareem's saying in this comment. And it's a logical thing that I used to think about all the time and thinking about handicapping games and seeing who's going to win and stuff. But at this point, the way teams are built are so different, and there's often crazy lineups that are going against each other. Like, somebody's lineup will be very huge, like the Cavs, and then the other team's lineup will be small ball lineup. And they don't even actually really have counterparts when you take the 5 starters from the 2 teams and try and match them together. You know, there's a lot of that going on right now. In some ways, that's like, It's just like the league where all these players are saving the ball underneath their own basket. Didn't they know the unwritten rule about that? Didn't they know the unwritten rule about not hitting people in the air when they're flying through the air trying to dunk it? There's a lot of shit that's not the same as it used to be, that used to be common sense in this league. Like taking care of mismatches. Like if you have a big on a small guy and you need to go take that mismatch, that's a gimme. That's a gift by the other team. People don't even recognize that shit anymore. It's like a lot of the cerebralness of the game has gone out the window because there's a lot of dummies in the league right now, and they're not thinking about this kind of shit and gamemanship and trying to get right. Yeah, this is something I wonder about. It's like, why don't I know you can have a static starting lineup and just say these are our starting five every night. But man, I kind of long for the old NBA where people would have a fluid starting lineup and it was very much changing because of the matchup and who they were up against that night. You know, I don't know. Maybe Darko doesn't want to ruin or hurt people's confidence. And jerking people in and out of the starting lineup too much, it will do that. I don't know. I don't know exactly why we're doing exactly what we're doing. But if I was a coach and I was involved with tonight, I would possibly think about starting Mitchell as the fifth starter with Grady out and lining them up that way. Put Okuro on Barrett. Let Barnes and Pirtle take care of the bigs and have those two little guys quickly and Davion run around against Mitchell, the other Mitchell, and Darius Garland. Yeah, I would think about that. Seriously. I would think about that. Seriously. Stargate's come here with the voice of reason. I can tell already. Again, it's not the losing. It's how they are losing. You can't bring a top level draft pick into an environment like this and expect better results. It doesn't work that way. Yeah. I mean, I'm not ever thinking the draft is our savior. Our savior is the core getting better together as a collective unit. That is our savior. If you add a talented player in the draft, then you're going to come in and add to the talent pool. Well, it's still the collective achievement of gelling and growing together as a unit, as a franchise that gets you to the promised land. It's not an individual or a big trade where you swing it in a needle in your favor or anything. No, it's you getting your young players that are very talented better and better every year and them getting more and more accustomed to playing together with each other. Part of the reason why the Thunder, the Cavs are doing so well is they are accustomed to each other. And they really do know each other very well. We need that time period for ourselves. And once again, Raptors fans, it doesn't happen overnight. We have to put in the time. We have to put the failure in. We have to put in the effort over time, and then we'll see better and better results over time. And it's not linear. It's not going to be just all going up in one curve. There's going to be a little bit of – and last night I felt like there was a little tick up. If I'm really looking at the line graph of the Raptors and what they're doing, there was a little tick up. That's why I'm not that mad about last night, because progress was shown last night. And it may be very small and incremental, but it was still shown. And that means we're heading in the right direction. That's what I'm saying right there. That's right. Name is saying, enjoy the rebuilding process because it's a little like bodybuilding. And if you don't, you never achieve your goals. That's right. You got to start somewhere. And everybody wants everything so easy and all at once. That's just not how this works. Maybe a lot of things in this world have been built into paying the price for convenience, and you can get whatever you want in an instant through delivery sites or DoorDash or stuff like that. This isn't how this works. Everything in the NBA that's worthwhile or substantial takes time, and it takes failure to an extent, and it takes people being patient. And knee-jerk reactions and people wanting to throw people out just because of short-term failure now are missing the long-term failure later because they're short-sighted and understanding that the path to get to the long-term success is through short-term failure. And that's what people have to understand right there. Boom goes the dynamite. Mischief saying, New York are probably looking at our team and saying, thank God we traded RJ and Emmanuel. That's not what I would think they're saying. I think the New York fans were very impressed with Emmanuel last night. He was a very good player last night. And, when RJ does stuff on the court, when he has failure and he has success, there's probably nostalgia for both, for New York fans. That maybe there's some stuff he does for the Raptors, and he's like, man, I wish he would have done that for us when he was on our team. And then there's some stuff he may do on the Raptors that's like a missed free throw or, something that goes wrong on defense. And they're like, yeah, I'm so glad he's not on our team anymore. I mean, there's a little bit of both. They're very loved and respected in Knicks Nation, and they always will be because they're good character young men. And, they're going to be a part of Knicks history forever, no matter what. Just like OG's going to be a part of Raptors history, no matter what. That's what I'm saying. So he's saying this team is reminding me of the Clippers in the early 90s. Don't say that. No, you got to understand the Clippers in the early 90s have to have the decade of the 80s before that to be that. And no, man, we don't have that kind of 10 years in front of us. We have 10 years of winning to lead to us to this point. So yeah, this is not a good comparison. It's not a good comparison. The Clippers were dog shit for decades and decades up until like the 2000s in some place where they finally did get some good players and finally did some stuff with Blake Griffin and Chris Paul and people like that. But no, listen, that's not a good comparison because the Raptors have 10 years of excellence before the recent 5 years of tough stuff. And it doesn't compare. Young talent, but no direction. I mean, most young core teams in this league are like this. That's what you guys got to understand. You know, the initial rebuild with the Oklahoma City Thunder, they were a young team that had no direction. They really didn't have any direction. The Oklahoma City Thunder were really bad when they first acquired SGA, and they were trying to get it out of the mud and learn. They were a very bad losing team. You've got to understand that's part of the process. And where are they now? And understand this. That's what I'm saying right here. That's what I'm saying right here. The talent's there. The direction will come over time. Sola on vita. Sola on vita. One of life. One in life. Is that what you're saying? G saying, this is my goal. Go the Rockets route. Build up a talented young core. Grab winning vets when the talent is built up. Even if it's overpay, sometimes you have no choice to build winning culture. Yeah. I mean, if it's getting to the point where you're stagnating and you're becoming a losing organization like the Rockets had been, not spending money and really not investing and trying to do anything. They did invest in veterans and they've seen some real results. That's true. That's a way to jumpstart the heart is infuse veterans into your team like the Rockets did in the recent years. And yeah, that's definitely a way to help things. If at some point we're not getting anywhere and we're spinning our wheels, it's definitely a way to help things for sure. Stargate saying individual development is not the only development that was needed. The Raptors are lacking team development. Again, it's not the losing. Yeah. I think the team development's happening. It's just growing pains and it's not pretty. And in some ways, it's like, you know, you're going to fail more than you succeed when you're in early team development. And that's what's the stage we're in right now. That's what we got to say right here. There's individual development, which is going fantastic with different players. And the team development, maybe not going as well as the individual development with individuals right now. But hopefully we can change that. We've got a whole half of the season to play still. And there's a lot of learning and progress that we can find through this course of time. Once again, this is an easier half of the season for the Raptors. And we have better health at this point, too. Now, don't make those dismay you. If those are great things, Lex. So we should win, right? Well, if we don't let it totally depress you out because we're still not clicking enough with our development as a team to make it more possible with the percentage for us to win. So that's part of it right there. Let's see. Milbester saying Mischief quickly wanted to be a starter. And when the Knicks signed Brunson, he was a backup point guard. They built around Jalen and it led to the Nova core they have. Yeah. We know all this. You know, Jalen Brunson, they got him from Dallas and they've really invested in him being the team captain and leader for their team. And Emmanuel was growing too much into a starter that there just wasn't a place for him with the money and the position on the team in the New York market in particular. So he got the Toronto market. And that's the whole reason there. Yep. Randolph's here. Good game day blessings, beloved Raptor Freaks, most informative gang. Miracles happen every day. You are either a part of it or the recipient, but only if you serve your God-given purpose. There you go. I love that. Blessings to Phillips family and all the Raptor Freak families out there. Thank you, Randolph. I appreciate you dropping in. Nameless saying, Precious is looking much smaller. I think he spends more time on a fashion runway than a gym. I don't know. I don't know what Precious is doing. Maybe he's selling wine. You know, maybe he's going to Mets games. I don't know. I don't know what Precious is doing. In some ways, it's like Precious is Precious. I'm always going to have a soft spot for Precious, and I think that I like Precious. I've always liked him, even if he was wild and crazy and not necessarily the most fundamentally best player. I've always liked Precious, so I don't want to get on him. You know, he is a smaller center, and in some ways, that's why the Knicks won't start him at center if Cat's out. They're more likely to play Sims. And Sims is a brick house. Holy crap. He came in late in the game. He's looking bigger than he was last year For sure. Seymour saying, is winning coach of the year a bad thing in the NBA? Dwayne Casey, Mike Brown fired unexpectedly after winning coach of the year. I mean, once again, every time anything happens with coaches, it's a very unique individual experience. I mean, look at Adrian Griffin. I mean, is there any rhyme or reason of fairness with his coaching career in the NBA? No, there isn't. Because there's no fairness. There's nothing guaranteed. There's nothing promised to coaches. And it's an unforgiving profession. Dwayne Casey can win coach of the year a month after he's fired from the Raptors. That's happened. That happened. But that's a specific scenario with specific things happening on a certain specific timeline that allowed that to happen. And I don't question that at all. You know, the thing with Mike Brown getting fired recently, well, there was a reason why Sacramento decided no longer we wanted to go forward with him, because we weren't making progress anymore in the right way. That's what I'm saying. You can't look at win-loss. You can't look at accolades and say, this is a weird thing. No, everything is its own specific situation, whether it's the unfair firing of Adrian Griffin from the Bucks when he was a winning record and it didn't make any fucking sense, whether it's firing Dwayne Casey a month before he wins Coach of the Year on the Raptors, whether it's firing Mike Brown this season. It's all specifics in specific individual situations. Nothing is just carte blanche. This is the way we deal with things with coaches, because every scenario is different with the franchise, the ownership, the people that are working with them, the front office, the player situation, the market, and the fan base. It can all add up to different outcomes for everything that happens. And everything with coaches is haphazard, and there's no fairness in it. There's no fairness. You don't get your just rewards as an NBA coach necessarily. You're very lucky. You have a very successful career, and you look real good in the long term forever, like a Phil Jackson, a Greg Popovich, a Steve Kerr. But that's very, very much the minority of all the refs. I mean, all the coaches that ever coached in the NBA. Much more of them are going to fail. Much more of them are going to have a mix of good and bad, and they aren't going to be perfect. So, you know, there's no rhyme or reason. You can't look at this situation and apply it to like, this. You know, that situation when Casey was very specific. And in some ways, that was absolutely the right move, even if the rest of the world looks at it in a weird way to this day. Say, well, the Raptors fired their coach of the year a month before he won the coach of the year. Yeah, but you weren't involved in the inner part of it and why. And then did you tell the whole story? We fired our coach of the year and then we won the championship the next year. I mean, it's all specific situations. We can't do this. G saying Boucher had an interesting post. Something like me, when you see God's plan. Me, when you understand the plan. Masai was in New York. I don't delve into trade stuff, but this made me think. Well, Masai travels with the team quite often, and we don't realize it. He's very often on the road with them at different times. I don't think it's uncommon for him to be showing up at a away game for the Raptors and standing in the wings like he did last night. You know, so I don't read into that for like trade talk. He's just with the team, and sometimes that's the place for him to be. Bobby was there too. Bobby was there also. That post is in some ways, you know, Chris signifying that there's confusion and, you know, weirdness in his life with being on the Raptors and his place in and out of the rotation. Maybe things are a little weird for him, but you know what? He's trusting his higher power, and he's going with the flow of life, and he's in the flow. And nothing can stop him. It's like nothing that happens to him will destroy him or cause him upset. He's happy. He's a millionaire. He has a baby, and he is very, very happy. It's his birthday today. So he can keep perspective and understand just how blessed he is in life, even if, you know, some other players in the NBA in his position would be upset, disgruntled, and be like, why am I not playing? And being all that. No, I think this is what it is that Chris is recognizing the creator, the higher power above, is giving him obstacles and paths, and he's going through the paths, and he's doing it with grace. And in some ways, the confusion about his playing time and his place in the rotation signifies of this. And in some ways, he sees it as like, look, you know, that's part of the reason why he did what he did last night, is because he's in the flow of life, and he's taking the opportunity when it comes. He's jumping on it like he did last night. So he's like, he understands deep down, like a lot of us should right now, God's got his back, and he's going to take care of him no matter what. And that's that message right there. Monique saying, back at it tonight. Let's go, Raptors. Same stars of the game for me as Lex, IQ, Chris, and Kelly. Thank you, Mo. So you second my stars, so it's ratified. We've got 2 senior members of the council ratifying the game stars of the game, and I appreciate your seconding, superfan Monique Lawrence. Back at it again. Let's beat the Cavs. Let's beat the Cavs. That's right. It may not be very possible, but we'll see. Maybe we can. Maybe we can. Not going to say I can't bring myself to be too annoyed with barbecue. They haven't been together for that many games, not to imply they can't be criticized. Well, yeah, I've criticized Scott for not trying to take the game over more. I've criticized RJ for not making free throws. I criticized Emmanuel for not getting more of his teammates engaged and involved in the game as a point guard. Yeah, we can do constructive criticism on them as individuals, but we need to look, as Stargate pointed out, there's individual and there's team stuff. We need to look at what they're doing as a team. And honestly, a lot of the synergy between barbecue is fantastic. That's not the issue. The 3 main stars are not the issue. It's getting a better supporting cast and getting that better supporting cast more NBA up to level of NBA play and what it is. A lot of the cardio run around by a lot of players coming out there and not putting points in has got to change. It's got to change. That's right. That's right. G saying positives. Barbecue looked a bit more cohesive, and the team was more physical on defense, not necessarily footwork wise, but using their bodies more physically. Yeah, and we also guarded the 3 better last night. Let's go look at the team stats real quick, because this is an area where we improved last night, that we did play better defense, as G put it. This is true. They answered the call from a very poor defensive effort against the Bucks, and they did a better job this time. So I'm happy about this. First of all, with the shooting, they got way more shots than us. So they were getting to the loose balls a little bit better than us. They did shoot worse than us, which is interesting. We shot 49%. They shot 48%, but they got 11 more shots on goal. The three-pointers were a lot closer. They only made 2 more three-pointers than us, and we did shoot better threes than them. 10 threes for us, 12 for them. So, I mean, that adds to the deficit of the 14 points they beat us by, but that's way better than 22 threes to like 8 threes. Like, seriously, isn't it? It's way better than 28 to, I mean, that may be something we start keeping track of in our reactions, is what is the 3-pointers made total versus each other. Last night, 10 to 12. That's not horrible. We only had 2 less than them, and we obviously limited them from making as many threes as usual. So, the free throws, very 80%, both teams. We did get 5 less free throw attempts than the Knicks, and there's a little bit of home cooking there. A plus 10 on rebounds for the Knicks last night, including 15 offensive rebounds. That is an area where you got to get better at. Now, and part of it is we're undersized most of the time on the court, but part of it is also these small guard lineups he puts out there. And part of it is if Jakob's the only like rebounded dedicated guy, because Scotty's a floater, and he's a little bit doing everything all the time. He's not going to go down there and help box out as much. And that's where we get in trouble with guys sneaking in and getting the offensive rebounds like the 15 that Knicks got last night. That was a problem. And Darko did mention this in the postgame, that the offensive rebounds were an issue last night for the Knicks. Assists, we actually got 1 more assist than them, 25 assists, which is a golden number that I'd like to see the Raptors get to at least 25. Turnovers were pretty good. They were very even, 17 for us, 16 for them. They were careless at times, just like we were. So it was kind of going back and forth in that. Fast break points only was 16 for us. That's pretty good. And points to paint, we won that also, 50 to 48. But yeah, it's close in a lot of the stats in the game last night. It's way closer than a lot of the games we played recently, but just not winning enough, not knowing enough, not talented enough, or just not understanding in the third quarter when to turn it on to really try and get the lead back and overcome their deficit. That's part of it. As somebody said earlier, IQ got some of the work there, and then we subbed him out. We put Jamal Shed in, and it all goes to shit. Yeah, I saw that too. Yeah, let's keep going. Reggie's saying the problem is that when the Raptors are running offense, they don't get into it early. They hold the ball, and then they throw it into Yak to create. He's not that kind of player. As of late, they've been doing that. I can get behind this. I think that the Raptors in the beginning of the season, part of the reason why they had so much success is they were coming with force. And maybe this is a sign of fatigue, that they're not coming with as much offensive force, like coming right down the lane and just, I won't say what Jack said, coming down their lane and just, and going after them like that. Like there was a lot of really good stuff when Scotty was aggressive in transition, dribbling the ball and going straight at the hoop. There was a lot of that. We're not doing that as much. There's a lot more slowing up and doing what Smooth's saying here. And maybe that's something we need to revisit, trying to recommit to, is coming with force and putting the defense on their heels to an extent, like we did very successfully at the beginning of the season. That is something we could get back to. I think this is true too. I think sometimes the Raptors are too lackadaisical. There's been a little bit of criticism of Emmanuel holding the ball and kind of pausing and kind of looking around and wasting shot clock time. I can agree with all this. I feel like the Raptors are best when the ball is moving around a lot and people are moving all kinds of ways with cuts and screens. And that when we're standing around too much and we're eating up time off the shot clock, we're wasting valuable time, honestly. And in some ways, it's not doing us any justice to try and collect the scenery and figure out and analyze what to do. No, in some ways, you guys are good improvisers on the fly creatively. You need to just trust your instincts, Emmanuel and Scotty, and push that ball into there aggressively and make the decisions on the fly. And even if you don't eat up that much of the shot clock, I'm just saying that's where we had some of the success early in the season is aggressiveness on offense. And they're not there. Maybe because they're tired, they can't do it like that at this point. Seymour saying the pancake sure has flipped. We're losing and Orlando and Detroit winning. Yeah. I mean, that's how it goes in the NBA. Boston fans had a misery for many, many decades in the last 40 years. They've had it mixed in both. They had the great 80s, and then they had a really miserable 90s and most of the 2000s. And then they won their championship in 2009. And then they've been miserable for most of the 2010s. So we got to understand these come in cycles, and teams will be on top and then they'll go to the bottom. And it's just how it is. It's just the way it is. And we went on top. We got a championship. And well, we're having our share of the time on the bottom right now. And that's just how it is. Detroit's had their time on the bottom. Orlando's had their time on the bottom for sure. And they're getting some time on top right now. It's just the nature of sports, and 50-50, somebody's going to win, somebody's going to lose. And that's just how it is. Jimmy's saying it's hard to not be irritated about this team, how we were competing with teams with a depleted roster. We have so much more talent now with everyone back. No excuse. Coaching staff's got to lock in. No, there are excuses, Jimmy, because they just showed up, and just like a player coming back from injury, they got to find their legs under them, their rhythm as a unit, and they got to gel. And we're not totally gelled exactly right. We're getting better and better. It's a work in progress, but we got to start somewhere. Now, I know people have been saying this in the last week since we got fully healthy, that this is not unexcusable, that we're losing because we're fully healthy. No, that's not how this works. We have to develop and get better as a unit. And it doesn't mean our team's not good enough to compete. It just means we don't have it together yet in the right way to compete at the level to be able to compete. Now, if we get enough time and development and learning, it will come. And at some point, we'll see the signs of getting better. But it's not going to happen overnight. And everybody needs to be just incrementally patient in each step as we get better and better. That's right. That's right. Smooth saying this is why the Raptors have to trade Bruce Brown now. He's killing whatever value he has. I know. When somebody joked a couple of weeks ago saying Bruce is not going to play, he's just going to get traded without sight unseen. I wish we had done that, honestly. I really do. I wish we'd just trade him before he even came back healthy, because in some ways him showcasing himself, he's not helping things. He's really not. I'm saying this is right, Reggie. We maybe need to get him out of here before he shows more time on the court. 1 rebound in 21 minutes. That's it. That man's a guard. He's never was a power forward. Whoever said Bruce Brown could play power forward a couple years ago, you were a shim sham salesman. You sold us some swampland in Florida on that one. Bruce Brown is not a defensive power forward, and he is not a good rebounder either, man. No, he's not. Smooth saying, trade him today. I'm being serious, man. I am too. Messiah, if you're listening to us, dude, do it. Just do it. Seriously. I don't know what it is on the table right now for you and Bobby. Offers coming towards you for Bruce. But, man, you might really need to start thinking about taking it if this guy doesn't start getting better, because he's really fucking his value up. And in some ways, I mean, oh, my gosh. I get it. If we just eat his contract and he doesn't do anything, he just leaves, we get $23 million off our books for the summer, and we're going to be in good shape either way. But it would be nice to get some assets for him in the long run. Some people are going to see this as an extension of the Pascal trade, And if they see Bruce Brown kind of go for nothing, he's just a waste of time, and we're just paying him this $23 million this year to sit on the bench in a cowboy hat. Yeah, people might be a little pissed about that. So we need to figure this saga out with Cowboy Brown very soon, please. Very, very soon. Whatever it is, get it done. That's what we want. Stargate saying this team does have talent. It's just not being utilized correctly. It's like chess. Both players have the same chess pieces that have the same exact value. It's now how you use those pieces in relation to how your opponent is playing their pieces. But it isn't like chess, Stargate, because their queen is not the same as our queen. Their pawn is not the same power as our pawn. You can't use this analogy. It's not a straight, even playing field. No, it's not. It isn't. It just isn't. And it partly is the attributes I'm talking about. The team chemistry gelling over years. The Cleveland Cavaliers team that is together right now, in some ways, the most important players have been together for like 4 or 5 years right now. And, that's part of it right there. That's part of it right there. We've been together for a year, not even really that, because we've been hurt. So we got to understand this aspect of a franchise and rebuild is like that. And you can't say it's even like this. And if you use it's a skill of the players and the coach, no, that's bullshit. That doesn't apply to this analogy because the chess pieces are weighted in different power on the NBA chessboard. And you can't say that their queen is equal to our queen because they're very unique individuals that have their own player builds and packages and abilities to do on the court. And in some ways, as I said before, it's more like Survivor where you got to fill the jug and each of the tribe members have to put water in the jug. And whoever has the most water in their jug wins the game at the end. And if we don't have guys throwing water in the jug like Bruce Brown and Jamal Shed, well, we ain't getting as much water put in the jug and the Knicks are winning. So, you can't use this one because the king, the queen, the pawn, the rook, the bishop, they are not equal on the two sides of each thing. Teams have different levels of talent and different veterans and different skill levels together. That's what it is right there. Smooth saying, Bruce Brown is freelancing out there, man. Yeah, I don't know what he's doing. Get him off my team. So I can say, is Bruce a free agent at the end of the season? Yeah, his contract runs out. That's why he's attractive. It's like, all right, NBA teams, I want to make a sale to you. My name's Bobby Webster. We have a guy who's worth $23 million this year on our cap. And when he comes to the end of the year, he's going to be coming off our books. It'll be up to you whether you want to re-sign him or not and put any more money on him. But that money will come off your salary cap for freedom to do things. Now, we can go ahead and eat it and use that $23 million, but we want to get assets for him. We want to trade him to another team and get some draft picks and maybe another player, maybe not as high paid player. There's a couple different ways to do this. So this is what it is right here. It's like there's two ways to do it. Either you trade him now to get assets for him that are like draft picks and a possible useful player, but not that high paid. But there's also, because of what we did with Fernando this week, there's leeway with more money to pay a higher player that's maybe more better than him and also in this trade too. So there is the possibility we could actually go and get a $25 million player for Bruce Brown because of the cap room that we just freed up with Bruno Fernando. So there's a lot of different possibilities here. What is the philosophy? Can we get anything for him that's worth it right now? Or are we going to eat his contract by the end of the year and he'll walk and we'll just get $23 million put in our salary cap through usage? That's what I'm saying. 100%. Somebody's agreeing with me right there. There you go. Let's see. Let's keep going. Nako's saying, I'd go for Common or Jeremiah Fears over VJ Edgecombe. So you think Common Malak, who's being projected 11 by the ESPN draft rankings, is better than Edgecombe, who's projected at 4 for us. Interesting. I'll believe Nako over ESPN. I'll be like, he's more of a reliable source. My friend Gerald, who lives in Mississauga, is more of a reliable source than ESPN for draft information. I'm going to say that right now. That's what we're saying is, yes, Stargate. Yes, Bruce is a free agent. That's right. Seymour saying, I'm going to do my research on Edgecombe. There you go. Yeah, that's who they're saying. I often say, who's ESPN telling us to take? Don't take them. It's usually the wrong person. Don't listen to what ESPN's recommendation for the Raptors in the draft is. Raptors fans, this is where we went wrong with Jalen Suggs. And you just need to understand this. Don't listen to ESPN or Bleacher Report or any of those U.S.-based people that cover the NBA on when they talk about the Raptors, don't listen to them. Just trust me on this, because they don't have good intentions for us. And they may be trying to get us to draft an undersized point guard, like because that's what the Raptors do since the beginning. Damon Stoudemire always had undersized point guards. So we're going to put an undersized point guard or an undersized guard on the Raptors draft sheet. They're always going to do that. Stargate saying Kasparis as well. All right, I'm going to see that. Stargate saying, okay, so my theory is that he and his agent already know he's going to sign back with Denver no matter what. So he doesn't care where we trade him and for what. He already has his plan set. So is he trying to screw us over? Why don't you do us a solid and get your trade value up, you punk ass Bruce Brown? Now, y'all remember, I don't have this the timeout on, so I want to get the stream done. I'm at 2 hours right now, and I don't want to do a total Lexathon today. I'd like to get it done in the next half hour if we can. I don't want to go 3 hours. Let's see. Jimmy's saying, I would rather change coaching staff before we make a trade. I don't want to do that. We don't need to do either one of that. No, what the trade is, we're going to trade Bruce Brown out of here. I mean, all right. Are you saying I'd rather change the coaching staff before we trade one of the main top barbecue stars? Yeah, that may be right. Although maybe not, because maybe one of those barbecue stars isn't the right person to be here. I don't know. I can't make this hard and fast rule that you're making, where I'd rather fire the coach before I make a trade. Nah, I can't do that. I can't do that. That's a weird rule to have. I can't do that, Jimmy. I'm sorry. Kasparis is very good. We'll have to look at him in the days to come. Trevor J saying classic card. I did the Instagram stories, and Mischief is where I'll stop right there. And so I will go ahead and do the classic card real quick. Once again, these are current cards from Christmas that my niece and nephew gave me. And so they're not classic. So everybody should be able to get a shot at these. So here we go. Here's the classic card of the day. First person to write the full name answer in gets the classic card points. If you can tell who this card of the day is, it's not very classic. It's from last year. I'm covering up the logo of the team. You can kind of tell who it is. LaMelo Ball? Nah, that's not LaMelo Ball. Kaz, Trucker, good morning to you, Kaz. But that is not the right answer. Maybe you can kind of tell who this is. You know, you guys may not know who this is because he didn't get to play against us the last time we played his team. Derek White is not correct. Cam Johnson is not correct, but it's close. It's very close. Yeah, as I said, this guy did not get to play against us when we played this team on New Year's Day, and we beat them. Kaz, man, you're killing me, man. It's not the Country Music Awards. Come on now. Yeah, it's Cam Thomas. You really put me in a tough position, Cass, because you put in CMA Thomas, and Carlo got it right afterwards. It's just a little bit off. I think your spell correct should have got that for you, man, and got your back. Because, man, Cam Thomas, it's not CMA Thomas. This isn't Country Music Awards, Thomas, Bruce Brown's friend. You want to give it to Cass? Carlo's saying he wants to give it to you. Well, that's his choice. Yeah, it is Cam Thomas, who was hurt on New Year's Day when we played against him. And in fact, the Nets fans were saying, yeah, you guys wouldn't have beat us on New Year's Day if Cam Thomas had been healthy. That's what the Nets fans saying. Typo, all good? No, we're going to give it to you, Cavs, because Carlo is the guy who's going to make the call because he's the one involved. And he's saying, give it to you, to give it to Kaz. I don't think Kaz actually has some very many classic cards of the day. So we're going to go ahead and put him on there. It's only 100, though, unfortunately, my guy. Yeah, Cass, when's the last time you got a classic card? I'm trying to look at this. I don't see your name on here at all. So you know what? You're getting your first classic card, it looks like. Did you get one way earlier? I don't even see your name on here, ever. I don't think Trucker Kaz has ever gotten a classic card, guys. So there you go. That's really nice of you, Kaloy, to allow Trucker Kaz to get on the classic card list today with the guessing of Cam Thomas. Good stuff, man. Good stuff. You didn't get one before. That's your first one. Very, very cool. Even though you said CMA. CMA. Country Music Awards, Thomas. Yeah. Bruce Brown's best friend. That's right. Mischief saying this draft is top 5 heavy. ESPN is saying that we draft VJ. I wouldn't pick him in the second round. The Raptors need a center and power forward. ESPN wants us to fail this draft. Flag Bailey is fit better for the Raptors. See, Mischief knows. He's another draft guru that I would trust over ESPN. Him and Nako are my draft gurus, not Fran Fraschilla or whoever the fuck's doing that shit for them at this point. Yeah, okay. He's warning us. VJ is a red herring. And don't listen to ESPN, Raptors fans. Seriously. Thank you, Mischief, for your contribution. G saying another factor in this game, the Knicks played their starters heavy minutes. RJ played 28 minutes. Hart played 38. We went deeper into the bench and for a longer time. This shows what the priority is. Yeah, we're also not a maniac like Tom Thibodeau, which this is going to be an issue. And this is something they talked about on the broadcast. They're going to run that team in the ground during the regular season, doing the things the way they do it with Thibodeau. And they're going to be unhealthy for the playoffs, and they're going to suck, and they're going to go out early. Maybe this is part of the reason why the Knicks have not gotten to the conference finals in like 25 years or so, is because they got a coach to run them into the ground before they can even get anywhere near there. It's a similar thing with Philadelphia. So I don't know. Someone's going to have to give. They're going to have to play their bench at some point during this crazy long ND2 game season, or they're going to have a bunch of injuries by the end of the year. That's what we learned from Kyle and DeMar, right? What did we learn in the 2010s Raptors franchise? You run your superstars with crazy minutes the whole entire year. They don't got no gas for the playoffs. And DeMar DeRozan and Kyle Lowry, many years of failure in the playoffs in the 2010s is evidence of this. So, yeah, they can do this. They can go ahead and do that. That's going to be their own stupid fault for doing it that way. Yeah. Seymour saying, hope we can get another 7+ days so I can barbecue and watch the game tonight. Let's go barbecue. Yeah. Oh, +7 day. You mean like with weather? Man, it's so cold here right now. It's been like the coldest couple days since I've been living out here. Life in the Chinook. So you're getting good weather there? You got 7 degrees Celsius? Holy crap, man. It'd be awesome. You're getting a little spot right now. We're not here, man. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I like that for you, man. Most saying, limit the comments for Lex. W stream, despite the outcome. Keep at it always, Lex. Raptor Freak crew, strong forever. Raptors for life. There you go, Monique. For life. For life, Scott Hall. Toronto Raptors for life, for life. Yeah, like the NWO. That's right. For life. Most saying the annual visits to Holland Blurview is always wonderful for both teams. Yeah, it was really heartwarming to see that. I love seeing Jameson and Uric out there with the people at Holland Blurview and giving back and making a special day for them. That was awesome. So awesome to see. Chris comes here. Yo, the reason I figure we are tanking is because I don't think we're that bad. Those close games early was what I thought we were. But these last 9 games, I'm thinking we are really that bad. I mean, perception is reality, right? But you don't have to perceive it this way. You have to look at it with context, Criscom. And that's all I'm trying to do on this channel. I'm Damage Control. And I'm the person who can kind of shine a light on the things we should maybe be looking at in this very difficult, frustrating process called a rebuild. Yeah, I know. It's disheartening. The stuff that happened around Christmas was like so ugly. Boxing Day debacle, number 2, Memphis. Oh, man, that Orlando game. Yikes. So many threes. It's crazy. Yeah, it's disheartening, but it's a perfect storm of different elements that I've been describing on this channel in the last couple weeks. That is the reasons, and we need to understand them. I don't think we're a bad team. I think that we've just had bad luck with injury, and we've also just have growing pains, and that's just part of it. That's just part of it right there. Randolph's saying, Lex, the new TGL virtual golf tournament is impressive. The ingenious of a man, as one who enjoys playing the game on PlayStation, I enjoyed it. Interesting. So they have a new virtual golf on PlayStation right now that you think is really high level. And as somebody who plays real golf, it's a very good simulator. Very cool. That's an interesting endorsement, Randolph Phillips. And thank you for the recommendation to the Raptor Freak family for the TGL virtual golf tournament. Very impressive, according to Randolph. All right, y'all check that out. Mr. saying Raptors signed Canadian 6'7", 244-pound Eugene. That's right, baby. That's right. We love our Omaroi. And I knew this was going to happen. This is ethical Draymond. This is a man who's built like Draymond Green. And in some ways, you want to make a Draymond comparison, make it a Eugene Omaroi, please. Because he does a lot of the things that Draymond does. He does. He's just as scrappy and physical and fighting in there, undersized, and get rebounds. And he does have a defensive acumen that's quite good, too. I'm excited to see him. I hope he actually gets to play. I don't want to give him a trivial, like a sign of, oh, yeah, we're going to give you a 10-day as a reward, but we don't actually ever play you. Let's actually try Eugene out and get him out there. If you're going to be playing people like Bruce Brown, like you're going to do. You can make room for Eugene Omoruyi and give him a shot to try and make it. Of course, Eugene does have NBA experience already with the Wizards and Oklahoma City and a couple other teams. And yeah, he's got NBA minutes, so he knows what he's doing already. We'll have to see him get out there again. I want to see it. I want to see it. Seymour saying people laughed at Houston overpaying Fred. Now look at the standings. That's what leaders bring, winning. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. That's why the younger casual Raptors or casual NBA fan does not understand winning basketball or what it takes to win in this league. They look at things and they think Fred is a bad player. They think Fred is a garbage player. Well, Fred adds up to winning, and I've known this. He was a big part of why we won the whole time he was on our team. And, everybody who has misconceptions about the league and the three-point shooting and, oh, LaMelo's so good because he does fancy dribbles, that shit doesn't win. And that's why you need to come to the School of Hard Knocks, the Raptors Freak channel, and learn again how the game is supposed to be without all this superfluous fucking fluffy shit that's been going on around the league right now that isn't like real basketball or what is mattering to basketball to win, like rebounding, defense, and understanding the flow of the game, the tempo, and controlling it and trying to win it. Fred understands this, and that's why he's brought success to the Rockets. And does Rocket Nation get mad about his big, huge contract? Maybe some of them do, but a lot of them are thankful, the smart ones, because they understand the impact he's had. That's what I say about that. That's right. Seymour saying, I really feel bad for Yak. He wanted out of San Antonio because of all the losing, now back to the same spot with Toronto's side. That's not true. That's not true at all. None of that is true in any sense. It's not about winning or losing for Jakob. It never has been, honestly. He's just a diligent soldier that is honored as the only Austrian player to ever play in the NBA. He understands he's blessed. In some ways, he's very much like Chris. He understands he's a millionaire. He's blessed. He plays a game, and he's so happy. In some ways, it's not that winning and losing matters to Yak. He's very, very clinical about it. He looks at it in just a very as it is way. I play basketball. I get paid to play professional basketball. If we win, that'd be fantastic. But also, I'm just very happy and blessed to be in this league. You think he didn't enjoy being in San Antonio? He loved it down there. He loved it. He loved playing for that team for the most part because he was with Popovich, and he enjoyed the challenge of playing for that team. It's not about winning or losing with Jakob. You've got him totally misread. In fact, part of him re-signing with our team a couple years ago was understanding we were about to go in a rebuild and that we probably weren't going to be winning, and that he was okay with it because in some ways he just likes the city of Toronto. He likes the franchise, and he was very happy to get back to us. Very, very happy. So let's not get it twisted. Jakob Poeltl is not under duress with what's going on right now. He's a professional. He's been through this shit with the Spurs already. He knows the drill. And like Chris, he understands he's in the flow of life. I'm living my best life because I'm an NBA player and I make millions of dollars to play a game. So, yeah, let's not get it twisted here, Seymour. He understood the drill, and it's not all about winning and losing for Jakob. It really isn't. It really, really isn't. Kaz saying, good morning, everybody. Look, Kaz just showed up and got the classic card like that. Cool Cat saying, Raptors close to rebuild with the young player. Chose to rebuild with young players. Growing pains, everyone embrace the journey. Be glad we witnessed the glory days. Smite on the success of forever Raptors. Siakam. Oh, smile on the success. Not smite. Ooh, that's not good. Raptors, Siakam, OG, Fred on new teams. Yeah, we're always going to have alumni around. There's Kyle. There's Kawhi. There's alumni all over the place. DeRozan. It doesn't just have to be those guys from the recent edition. There's all kinds of alumni I'm going to celebrate in different places that have to do with the Raptors. So, yeah, I mean, I know Cool Cat is saying this because she was warning and saying, yeah, we should invest in this core. We need to keep Siakam. We need to keep Fred. And she's right. In some ways, this is maybe a little bit like the election this past year with Trump, is that we warned y'all, and y'all are going to get these things that happen to you now in the rebuild of America under Trump's vision. We warned y'all not to vote for him, and now you see we're going to suffer for it, all of us, because of this. Well, it's a similar thing in some ways. If you're going to do a rebuild, it's going to be tough and painful and not easy. And, well, we warned y'all that a rebuild would be like this. Cool Cat and I did. Grebe said, where's Blackhawk? Last thing he said was he is in California, not the greatest with geography, but I hope he's far away from the fires. I don't even remember him saying that. He said he went to California. Yikes. Yikes. Yeah, Neil hasn't been in the chat for a couple of days now. You're right. I just realized that. Well, I hope he's okay. And, yeah, that stuff over there is not good. It really, really isn't good over there, man. Tristan's here. Good to see Tristan. Salute to Raptor Freak Tristan. I saw that mischief. I'd like a big, more defensive than Kelly and Kaminsky. Maybe they're evaluating pieces they have before deadline. Darko said Jacoby played over Mitchell for long term. Yeah. I mean, that makes sense. I mean, Jacoby's our future. There's certain players that Darko has given a nod to, and he says these guys are our future. He says this in interviews. Scotty, Grady, Jamal Shed, Jacoby Walter. 4 guys that he has very explicitly said, these are our future. So they're going to get favor in playing. I know that's part of it right there. Yeah, I know that there's part of it. Frank Kaminsky on a 10-day contract? No. No! Omoruyi. Yeah, I want to see Eugene get his shot in a Raptors jersey. Yeah, I want to see it. Tristan saying, defense, I can take time. Defense, can take time and communication. We had youngest lineup in history this season. Not the most disappointed I've been about a loss. This is so important to realize. The average age of the Raptors this year is the lowest it's ever been in the whole 30 years of our franchise. How's that for a factoid in perception of what's going on with us right now? Our average age of our team is the lowest it's ever been in the whole 30 years. Even in our expansion year, the first year, we had a bunch of vets that had played in the league a lot already, and they knew what they were doing. It's not like we came in and had a bunch of nobodies and new players and a bunch of rookies playing a lot in the beginning. That would have been a totally different scene. It would look more like Vancouver, honestly. And that's what we have to understand. We have one of the youngest, most inexperienced teams in the Raptors history right now. Right now. And does that help you understand a little bit more about what's going on? As far as he's saying, yeah, defense can take some time and communication and getting used to each other and understanding, well, yeah, Scotty will take care of this when this is going on, but man, he won't do this. I need to be ready to take care of this slack because he may not do this. It's little foibles. It's little preferences. It's little tendencies that they learn off of each other. And the more they get adjusted with it, the more they can cover up each other and their weaknesses, and the more that they can really enhance each other's strengths. Does that make sense? Familiarity does not breed contempt in the NBA. It breeds chemistry is what it is. Familiarity. That's right. Seymour saying, stating opinions ticks people off. Asking questions ticks people off. Lol, man, Lex, y'all got to relax. Life ain't so stressful. If you're going through things, find help. Mental health is real. That's what I'm saying. Don't let this add to it. Seriously. Whatever it is in the world right now, you need to protect yourself with your own bubble to keep your mental health sane. You know, the world may be going crazy and insane in stupid ass ways in the very near future. And we need to keep our own sanity. In some ways, boundaries are important. And just understanding your own self-help checklist for being okay and doing the things that you need to do for your health as far as diet, rest, and all the other things that you just need to be happy in your life. And this is true. And the Raptors ruining your moods and your life right now is so stupid and like unnecessary. If you're riding an emotional roller coaster with the Raptors and all the L's are collecting, you need to stop. You need to let it go. Like I said earlier, don't do this. Seriously, you're just doing your own damage to yourself. You're a masochist. You don't need to do this. Step away from doing that if you are this season. Please, mental health is real. And you can't do this year. It's stupid. Why would you do this? I would do this in the past myself. I know the action. Trust me. I'm a reformed Raptors fan that would absolutely live and die with how the team was doing. But I had to let go of that in recent years because the team is just having a tough time getting it back up to an excellence that we had a couple years ago. And in some ways, it's very frustrating. And I am a competitor. I want them to win. Don't get it twisted. I'm not rolling over and dying. I'm not waving a white flag. I just understand that right now the battle is not to be won at this time. And down the road in the future, it will be. And we just need to go through this now, the quagmire of losing. And we will get out of there and we'll get back to the other side. And we'll feel so good, especially if you stuck through with them this way like we are right now. A lot of people are turn them off and go and ignore them and don't want us even have any part to do with this. I understand that too. Life is busy and there's a lot to do. Smooth saying, fuck ESPN and Bleacher Report. They know nothing about the Raptors. Exactly. VJ Edgecombe. Okay, sure. We're not listening. We're not listening. Carlos said, morning, Lex and fellow freaks. Bruce Brown really pissing me off. Dead weight on the bench lineup. At least the J-Rooks play their ass off, but Davion should have played instead of Shed. Yeah, totally agree with all that. I mean, we were talking about this in the game last night. Yeah. Yeah, I think that is a very conscious effort, decision from the front office, the shed over Mitchell stuff right now, because it's not the winning decision. No, it isn't. And not playing Chris Boucher is not a winning decision also. I'll agree with that. I'll agree with that for sure. All right, there's the classic card answers. Good to see we're there. And let's see. Kaz is saying, I don't think I got one before. You didn't get one before. You got your first classic card. It's Cam Thomas. It's not the most exciting player, but he is a scorer. He does fill it up to a certain degree. Kaz saying, Lex, do you think Eugene will see any time with the big club? I hope he does. He deserves it. I mean, I hope he doesn't just get garbage time. I hope he doesn't just get like Ulrich, AJ Lawson time. I hope he actually gets a shot to be in the rotation for a couple games and just see what he can do. That's the only proper way to do it. I know that he's had time in the NBA and people have seen him in certain places, but he's a different player right now because he's been playing all around really good for the 905. And he's going all out. Like he's very much a hustle guy. And we could use that. We could use that. And plus, the other thing is, even though he's undersized, he will add better rebounding to the Raptors. And that's something we need right now. That's something we need right now. A more plucky, active guy that's around there just grabbing loose balls and rebounds near the basket as much as he can. Blackhawk is here. Okay, I'm in San Diego, corporate trips, so I have to hang around my boss. So he's not able to talk as much. Okay, Neil, well, I'm glad you're safe and you're nowhere near the forest fires that are going on over there right now. Thank God. Most saying, learning my new chair, well, joystick, etc. Love it. I saw the picture of you yesterday, Monique, in your new chair. It's fantastic. I'm so glad that you got it smoothly and you're adjusting to your new life with your new chair. It's fantastic. That's so awesome. Yeah, you're going to have to learn all the tricks of it and all the little doohickeys and the things that it can do. That's right. That's right. Awesome. I love that too. Nice. Yeah, Tristan likes it too. G also. Smooth saying Jacob. I got to remember, there's like one letter that's going to be off of Jakob or Jacoby. You put an E on there, it's Jacoby. There's no E there, it's Jakob. Jakob knew this coming back to the Raptors, that this was a plan. He extended with the team. I'm not worried about him at all. He's a foundation piece. Yeah, once again, he's not a ring chaser. I mean, his number being 19, don't get it twisted. That is a message, and he does have the eye on the prize. But also at the same time, he's very philosophical about this. And in some ways, he doesn't have consternation. He's not desperate. He's going to live his life. He's going to make wise decisions in it. In some ways, it's just like how he plays the game is the way he's living his life. Just think about it that way. How about that? How about that? Kareem's saying, if the culture doesn't shift to how it was at the beginning of this year, by the end of the year, how will you feel about the coaching staff? I don't think the culture's changed, Kareem. You got to listen to me very clearly. The culture's fine. The culture is not the problem. Sure, the effort needs to be a little bit better. The fight needs to be better, but that's fatigue, and that's mentally beaten down by losing. Once again, I'll say the change from the beginning of the season to now is injuries and fatigue and beaten down and worn out. And that's the biggest difference with the gumption of you're seeing the difference between why they're getting after it more in the beginning of the season and not as much now. That's just part of it. It's a long NBA season, and you have to have a very good roster that's playing at a high level to be successful throughout the 82 games. So that's what I say about this. I'm like I said, I'm not going to judge the coaching staff. I want to give him at least 3 years. Some people are already saying, oh, we need to fire Coach Darko. I don't agree with you guys. I think that we need to see this through, and you need to listen to me again. I said the rebuild's not going to be pretty. It's going to be difficult. It's going to be painful, and it is. Well, I'm going to say this again. You guys fire Darko. We're going to have to start over, and we're going to have to go through a lot of pain we just did right now over again. So you want to just keep on going through the pain over and over again because a new coach coming in here? Because Mike Brown's not the answer. No, he's not. In fact, Darko's the best possible coach we could have right now, y'all. And you need to understand this. Masai and Bobby don't get shit wrong. Seriously, think about this. They draft people, they get it right, don't they? Well, one of the things they do really good, too, is they hire coaches really well, too. They've only hired 2 coaches the whole entire time they've been in charge. How long have they been in charge? They've been in charge 15 years almost. Seriously, they've hired 2 coaches. That's pretty good. That's a good track record. Of course, Casey was hired before, and they let him coach for the first 8 years of them running this team. And then they hired Nick Nurse, who was a fantastic coach. And why would you think Darko's any different? Y'all need to just trust Masai on Darko just like you would a draft pick, okay? Because honestly, how many people did they interview that summer? How many months did they take to hire Darko? They did not rush into hiring him like impulse. They really did their work, and they really, really looked at him, and they understood the task that was in front of the Raptors, and they knew that this guy was the right guy for it. So y'all need to understand this and respect that. In some ways, this is going to be a place where trusting in Masai is very important. That it's not a player that you need to trust in on. It's the coach. And you need to understand that the Masai is not fucking around to fuck up a coaching hire. He made this very, very diligent decision and went through everything he had to. And Darko, honestly, is the best coach for us in our situation right now. I don't know. Were you going to tell me, give me another name? Give me other guys that are unproven, that have no idea in this NBA world. Sure, maybe Jordy would have been the second best choice. Maybe he would have been the best choice. I don't know. But they didn't decide Jordy. They decided Darko for a reason. I don't know who else is out there. I don't think a retread would do this job better. I don't think Frank Vogel would come in and help our team any better. We got to understand what's out there, what's possible in this, and understand that this is a coaching star on the rise, and he's getting his first opportunity, and he's going to be a mix of good and bad, but don't get it twisted with his development record, his personality, his way that he's running things, the way he's got the team connected still. Now, that's the thing you got to understand, Kareem. It's not necessarily about wins and losses. It's not necessarily about effort on the court, night in, night out. It's about unity on the team and culture behind the scenes, staying intact through adversity. Last season, it was a lot of trades. And we went from the beginning of the season with Dennis and Pascal and OG and them to the end of the season. They were more happy at the end of the season with Kelly Olynyk, RJ, and Emmanuel. That our team was in a better place mentally at the end of the season after losing most of their games all year. How the fuck did that happen? It's because our coach is a badass and he knows how to keep culture okay. And he's doing it right now. He's weathering this crazy shitstorm of L's and futility and sadness and fucked up shit. And he's keeping these guys together. They're not pointing fingers at each other. Scotty's not yelling at Emmanuel and getting mad at him and saying, oh, you suck. I hate you. I don't want to be on the team. No, none of this shit is happening. So what the fuck do you want, Raptors fans? What do you want from this coach right now? He's on a sinking ship that's difficult right now, and he's holding the crew together without a mutiny. Without a mutiny, that none of the players are turned on Darko. They're the ones that should know whether he's a good coach or not, the best out of everybody. Not the press, not the fans, the players. The players still buy into what Darko's selling. He's doing a good job. And not only that, they're not turning on each other. They're staying together. They're playing for each other. The culture and the health, the vibes are strong, even if we've only got 8 wins this year. So think about that coaching accomplishment. Not everything is about the win-loss. Not everything is about making the playoffs or getting the Larry O'Brien. It's also about keeping a healthy culture and fit on your team towards progress because you are healthy and positive on the down low, even if everything's falling apart. In some ways, I'd say that's a bigger accomplishment in some ways than having a very talented team that's running at a high level, and it's easy to coach and winning. It's very hard to coach and losing. And that's why I would say give more respect to Rajakovic, because what he's doing is not easy. It's not easy to hold a whole group of millionaires together and losing and losing and losing and keeping them ready to come and continue to hit the beats of the schedule day in and day out. The arduous, tenuous, crazy-ass schedule that they give in the NBA. So with that perspective, can I sell people on what I just said here? Last year, it was the flux of the trades and the turnover and the change. They held it together. This year, it's the injuries and the futility of losing. And he's keeping the personalities in the team all for one, one for all. So that's an accomplishment. I'm sorry. It may not look like an accomplishment with the record. It may not look like an accomplishment because sometimes the guys are tired and they just don't play right on the court. But there's an accomplishment in there that if you look through it all and everything, you can see what I see. That's what I'm saying right there. Yeah. All right, let me finish up these last couple comments and get out of here. I'm 2 minutes away from 2.5, and I don't want to get too far on some way. Smooth saying, keeping in mind, I will never agree with this rebuild path the Raptors have chosen, but that's what it is. Imagine if Pascal had stayed, though. Oh man, team would be good, man. Well, I hate to say it, but it really does seem like on the down low and behind the scenes, it was a Pascal or Scotty thing, even though I didn't want it to be like that. And I know that they played really well with each other. I don't know. Sometimes I worry about the childish not a childish, I shouldn't say that. The mentality of Scotty and what he wants from this team and what he's dictating and whether it's healthy for our team. I worry about that because if he had any hand in saying like, oh, I don't know if we can play long term with Fred and Pascal, I would be pissed because honestly, you should have tried and done better with them. And you can see now what it's like post them and how difficult it is, Scott. That's what I would say to that. I mean, I don't know, man. Team would be good, man. Yeah, you have Siakam and Fred, champions, proven NBA players that have won historically through most of their NBA careers. Yeah, the team would be good. You're right. Kareem saying, sorry, Lex, I'm losing my shit about this team. I'm kind of sliding off the tracks. I need to get back on. That's all right, man. I'm here for you, man. Just step away from the ledge, Kareem, and just be all right with it. Seriously. If you have to take your lady to Denny's, just go to Denny's, man, and get some Denny's, and you'll feel better after you eat. In some ways, yeah. Make sure you're taking care of your basic needs, like washing and drinking water and getting enough rest. Yeah, make sure you're doing that. You'll feel better, and it'll be easier to weather the storm. Seriously, you got to do that stuff. It's important. Wait, I said that wrong. Someone pushed me when the train comes back around. Whoa, we don't want to push you off a ledge or in front of a train. No, we love you, Kareem. No, none of that. Smooth saying there was a pathway forward with Pascal, Scotty, and IQ and RJ. It's too bad they made this choice, man. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. It's Siakam's money. I don't know. I don't know. I want to believe that. And I remember you saying this too, Reggie, at that time. It's like I was very pro keeping Siakam too. There was a camp of us that, like you, Cool Cat, myself, that was kind of like, you know what? I mean, if we could keep Siakam, that'd be fantastic. The spicy barbecue was really tasty. But man, I don't know if it was actually realistically feasible. I'm sure Masai tried to do everything he could. I'm sure he did. Carlos saying yesterday they were more one-on-one oriented. Knicks are just bigger. I'd rather be beat by on a single coverage than be killed on threes by over helping. Yeah, I think there was more staying at home. And the other thing I noticed about the Raptors defense last night, they were very paced. Like they weren't as hectic and erratic. They were very shadowing. And in some ways, they took their time to kind of keep with the player they were guarding instead of a lot of that run around. That may be actually very smart, considering what I've been talking about with fatigue today, with the Raptors, with the aggregate of fatigue over the season. Yeah, I noticed this too. They did a better job in this for sure last night, Carlo. I saw this. G saying, Kareem, most things in life are temporary, even losing. The future wins will be even more amazing because of these times. Yeah. I mean, come on, man. You guys don't remember 96? Oh, man, y'all don't remember 2008? You know, I'm just saying there's different times where we have suffered as Raptors fans, and we're just in one of those periods again right now. So don't worry. It will come back around. It's all cyclical, and we'll get back, and it will be all the sweeter. It will. It really will be. Yeah, it really, really will be. And I'm going to give G a dunk for a positive encouragement right there. I like what G just said there. So he's getting his third dunk of the year. He's at 9 now. He's got that RJ 9. There you go. Carlos said, I see very positive things for Scotty yesterday. Barnes is coming along as the guy. He really is. The thing is like, all right, he's showing this every game out in the last 6 games or so. And the thing is, there should have been maybe a backdrop where he kind of just faded back and didn't do any superstar kind of stuff. But every game recently, he's consistently stepped forward and said, I'm going to be more of a consistent superstar go-to scorer. And he's shown that. That is progress on an individual level that is not totally rewarded in winning yet, but it is a part of what he needs to do to get to the next part where he will be winning with doing that stuff. I'm just saying there is, like people said earlier, you got to take the first step on a journey to make that journey. And Scotty's making those steps on that journey, and he's doing it consistently in the last few games where he is really taking the mantle and saying, I'm going to be a franchise player. I'm going to be a scorer. I'm going to be a go-to guy. I'm going to be unstoppable in this turnaround mid-range shot that I'm going to make over OG Anunoby right now. You know, that's what I'm talking about. That he hasn't backtracked on that. You know, he's shown a pattern where he'll show progress in certain ways, but then it'll disappear all of a sudden. And it'll be like, oh, no, now he seems like he's going back. But he hasn't gone back on this yet. He's consistently shown this every time for the last 6 games at least. So I like that. I like that a lot. And that's what Carlos seeing. That's what I'm seeing. Kareem saying, gee, you're right. I'm going to get my shit together. 53 and 29 is still on the table. Okay. Yeah, this is why you're so crazy, because you're unrealistic and you're crazy to say that. We get 53 wins this season. What are you talking about? That's insane. That means we went out. There's no way this is happening. Come on, Kareem. This is why you're so up and down. You have unrealistic expectations. You have to lower them, just like Mad TV and myself. You got to lower expectations. I'm sorry. All right, let's do the wrap up, y'all, and let's get out of here, y'all. I'm at 2:34. Okay, a couple more comments just came in. Carlos saying his defense is getting better too. There were a few possessions he was holding people accountable, missing assignments. No, he's been fantastic on an individual level with a defense, guarding people like Cat, just guarding some really tough opponents. Giannis. Yeah, and not only that, he's showing steals and blocks. Like, he's getting the stock still, and in very impressive ways too. Some of the Scotty blocks have been so fun. And him getting a steal to go to a windmill jam, you can't get mad at that. Come on now. Stargate saying Pascal and Scotty actually had chemistry. I believe the Raptors should have kept at least one of the big three, Pascal, Fred, or OG. Yes, pay them. Well, it could be very well that the front office management ownership was like, yeah, we're not going to invest in Siakam. I don't know. I mean, the whole thing is what it is. In some ways, like we said, like with Fred, OG, and Siakam, they went to the heights of things with us. And they've been through such doldrums in the years since at Tampa and confusing shit like the pandemic and the bubble and different stuff, that in some ways the ride for them in a Raptors jersey was very tough. And near the end, just wasn't fun. Fred said this very explicitly in interviews since he left Toronto. The last year in Toronto was not fun at all. And everything that we enjoyed about being on the Raptors kind of got sucked out of it. And I'm sure that experience was the same for Anunoby and Siakam too, having gone from the pinnacle, the very top, to where they were when they left. So I don't know if it was going to be able to keep. It was just the right time to move on. In some ways, that's a part of what it was right there. Yeah. Cool Get saying, see the Blue Jays Vladdy issue? Let's hope Raptors are not too cheap. I'm not totally sure what you're saying because I don't watch the Blue Jays very closely. I'm not sure what you mean when you say that. Are you saying that they've got Vladimir and they're investing on him, they want him around, but they're not investing in fleshing out the team around him to make him competitive? And in some ways, he's unhappy because he doesn't have a good team around him. I don't know. I don't know if Vladimir's unhappy or not. I have no idea because I don't know nothing. I'm not the Blue Jays freak. Vladdy don't want to pay. Vladdy don't want to pay him his money. Vladdy don't want to pay him his money. What? They don't want to pay Vladdy, or that doesn't make any sense. I don't understand. I don't know. If I knew anything about the Blue Jays, I could figure this out, what you're trying to say, but I don't pay any attention to them. So I have no idea what's going on with the Blue Jays. Either way, I'm sad if they're not doing well, but I can't take their sadness on. I'm a Raptors first and foremost. I got to just deal with this. She's saying regarding Vladdy, Blue Jays don't want to pay him his value. Okay, that's not what you said. You said Vladdy don't want to pay him his money. Yeah, well, that sucks. And if that's Rogers' way of being an owner, well, I'm worried for the Raptors then because they're going to be our owner. They are our owner now too. Yeah, I'll be worried about this. Seriously. Carlos saying Raps didn't play around and gave IQ and Scotty big contracts. Yeah. All right. No more comments, guys. I really got to stop. Yeah, Emmanuel's our highest paid player. And up until recently, he only played 5 games. You know, the travesty is that, you know, when you look at the Raptors' pay, Bruce Brown is the 3rd highest player on our team, paid player on our team. Seriously. He makes just $2 million less than RJ. He makes $4 million more than Jakob. He makes $11 million more than Kelly. He makes $13 million more than Chris, and he makes $13 million more than Scotty. He makes more than twice Scotty makes, like this season. Just so y'all know, on the contracts they're on. Does that make you hate Bruce more? That he's $23 million. He's the 3rd highest paid player on our team after Emmanuel and RJ. He makes just less than $3 million less than RJ does. Does that seem fair, right? That is a bad contract, and we took it on in the Pascal trade, unfortunately. It sucks. Yeah, Cool Cat saying, have a good day, everyone. It's a journey, long-term vision. That's right. It's a journey, and the long-term vision is important to stay sane in it, all right? So, yeah, injuries for the Raptors. Ochai Agbaji is out. He's been ruled out for the game last night, and we'll see if he's available tonight. It's not likely. It's not likely that Ochai is going to be able to be playing for the Raptors tonight, which is unfortunate because he was the only Raptor who played all games. Sam Merrill and Luke Travers are out for the Cavaliers. Well, Sam Merrill is. I don't know about Luke Travers. The three refs for the game tonight: Josh Tiven, Jason Goebel, and Simone Jelks. Josh Tiven favors the Raptors, and Jason Goebel and Simone Jelks favor the Cavs. Let's see. Is there anything else on my tabs? We do a reaction to the New York game last night. Raptors had a better effort in the first half. They looked pretty good. They were holding serve with them. In the second half, it unraveled. Certain players on the team, just dead wood, not helping in any kind of way out there, and that's no good. Thibodeau gets more quality out because he overplays his starters, and the very little bit of the bench gets out there. They don't do well. They get hooked right away, and they don't get any more time. Precious. That's right. 3 stars of the game: Emmanuel Quickley, Chris Boucher, and Kelly Olynyk as my 3 stars of the game last night. The ESPN mock draft is saying the Raptors are going to pick VJ Edgecombe of Baylor in the 4th pick on their thing. Happy birthday to Chris Boucher. Chris Boucher is 31 years old today. So happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Chris. Happy birthday to you. And many more. Yeah, there you go. Haha. All right. Check on your fantasy teams, y'all. I'm 7-0 over Boom Busters right now. Haha. 7-0. Yeah. Yeah, I'm winning. That's right. And Carlos saying, salute the real ones here. The wins will come. That's right. Stay in the trenches with us, Raptors freaks. If you want to stay in the battle, stay in the battle. But if you have to go do other things, go do other things. But we'll be here. You can come checking in on us, and we won't be judging you if you don't come every day. So, yeah. It's a tough grind. We're going to play Cleveland now tonight on the second night of back-to-back, a team that's won like 11 games in a row that is absolutely rolling. But the world is crazy, and sometimes crazy things happen. And so who knows? Maybe the Raptors could end their crazy-ass streak tonight. It's possible. Anything is possible. The percentages are there for either team to win. Now, is the percentage of the Raptors winning tonight very high? I mean, I can go look at it on ESPN in the preview for tonight. What are they saying on this? As far as who has the higher percent chance on the game cast on ESPN right now, they're saying we have a 10.9% chance of winning, 89.1% for the Cavs. So this may be a good way to judge how you should feel about whether the Raptors win or not. Go look at the matchup predictor on ESPN's box score page. It's 89 to 11% for the Raptors. So yeah, we have a 1 in 5 chance of a 1 in 10 chance of winning this game tonight. So you go ahead and think realistically about the game tonight, Raptors fans. And just understand, if we hold our own with them, maybe part of it is we look better than opening day where they blew us out. Maybe we lose by double digits. Maybe we come close and we almost beat them, but they beat us with just a better game management at the end because they're a more veteran team that knows how to win better than us. That could be what happens. Hopefully, we could just win, but that would mean a blowout and them playing really, really bad, trust me, and us playing very perfect. All right, y'all, thanks for watching me. Raptorize your day. Just have a good day. Be good to yourself. And separate your life from the Raptors winning and losing. You don't need to have that misery in your life. It's just not worth it. Just keep on going with your life and, have good things in your life other than the Raptors is what I'm saying. Randolph saying, Lex, the golf tournament is half virtual and half in person. That's crazy. That's pretty cool. Yeah, definitely check out what Randolph's talking about with his virtual golf tournament on PlayStation. Yeah. All right, y'all. Let's go, Raptors, to Cleveland. And hopefully we can have a good showing and show progress, if not a win. Progress is what we're looking for. That's what we want. All right, let's go, Raptors. And stop throwing Darko under the bus. He's a good coach. Trust me. I mean this when I say he's absolutely the best coach for us right now. Right now. It doesn't matter. We're going to lose either way right now. It doesn't matter who's coaching the team. What matters is how we're developing and getting better internally through this process. And Darko's the best guy for that. Let's go, Raptors. Let's go, Raptors.